tournament code, and hopefully there's a lobby we can get into. Let's harvest first, because they're playing... Oh, they left us a spot. Or they left me a spot. I guess you're already in here.
Indeed.
Then I need their logo. And then of course throw on opposite sides. Okay. Anyway, how are you doing today?
It's Friday. I'm doing great mentally since it is the very beginning of the weekend, but yeah, overall pretty well.
Yeah.
Excited for the weekend.
Oh,
I mean,
there's somebody who's higher level than Scrams. I didn't think that was possible. But there's a man on the enemy team who is level 1017.
I think one of the teams in Meta Shift, I think has someone higher level than Scrams too. That we scrimmed them. I think ZMG maybe. I don't know, but yeah, it was. It's rare that you see it, but very impressive when you do.
I also keep getting the Star Guardian repeating mission, but I'm not getting tokens for it, so it just keeps popping up randomly, as, you know, is good on the client.
Okay, interesting. I have 10 new missions on the client, but they're all TFT related, so. Right, draft is underway.
I'm trying to type out an announcement, sorry. We're getting there. Boom. Okay. The draft's on screen if you want to talk about it. I'm gonna make a post. No, I just put it on the screen, so I've been waiting. But yeah, you can talk about it. Let me post one other place, and then I'll help you.
All right, not a problem. We see Scrams pick up Lilia, which makes sense. It was already a staple pick of his, and it just got even stronger. It could be considered a flex. She does have some power in the top lane, but very likely that it goes jungle given the recent buffs to her clear speed. And in response, we see them pick up Sivir on the other side. A lot of the bans targeted towards bot lane, although I guess Swain and Swain and Seraphine could be considered flex bans and multi-positional, but it looks like both teams are trying to take away just some power picks.
Alright, well, I'm finally here and recovered, but yeah, Diana and Lilia, very strong jungle picks on this patch, so makes a lot of sense to see them here. The Twitch hover for Dilly is interesting. He still has his Draven up, he still has his Callista up. Be interesting to see the favor on the Twitch this early, especially into Sivir, who has an okay time dealing with Twitch, but it's gonna be locked in.
It'll be interesting to see how Harvest drafts around the Twitch. I was gonna say,
cat on a rat.
are we gonna go for? I was about to mention the submarine play possibility. Of when you have a Twitch and you kind of don't have necessarily any other forms of engage, just the rat sneaking up on you with other secondary follow-ups is pretty good, but we do see the pivot to Lulu. But as you're saying, both junglers that are picked and locked in this game have very good clear speeds, which is one of the things that makes them powerful. And then also the fact that they're both AP junglers kind of brings flexibility to the mid lane. Some of those other power picks like Yasuo and Yone kind of become easier to pick when you have an AP jungler. So
Yeah, Nami gonna be locked in for Team Ambition talent to round it out. I just had the realization, I've seen this logo several times. The crossbar on the A is sunglasses. I thought it was a mustache for the longest time, but it's sunglasses. It's the first time I've seen it this big. Anyway.
Gotcha.
Anivia and Fiora, and now Set can be banned? Set is kind of an interesting ban, because I don't think that's been a big Saint pick. It's definitely an Oath top lane special, and they're going to ban Yasuo. They're banning it away from Oath, which, given his last game that we saw on it, is understandable, but given his overall track record, isn't.
Yeah, I think one of the things when you factor in Yasuo as a champion is just the complete X factor that champion becomes, where it can either 1v9 a game or for either team, you know what I mean? So they just rather get rid of the coin flip. And
did you see SK's draft today by any chance in LEC?
No, I did not see any of LEC today.
Let me pull it up so that I make sure I didn't mess it up. But they had a Yasuo ADC with Rakan. SK. And now, of course, I can't find it. There it is. Okay. Yeah, so Darius, Vi, LeBlanc, Yasuo, Rakan.
Darius, Vi, LeBlanc, Russian. Okay. I'm actually surprised that we saw Darius in pro play at this
Darius
point.
And Vi. Although
and
Vi was
Vi,
played
yeah.
support in LCK, so like, who knows anymore? Anyway, Urgot and Galio gonna be the last two lock-in, which a little bit off the board for Harvest. They're not champions that we've seen Saint or Oath pick up so far this split, and now a potential mid lane counter for Team Ambition talent. The Lucian is the classic counter into the Galio.
The Galio, while it hasn't necessarily been necessarily a Harvest pick, kind of makes sense.
Yep,
based
and
on
there's the Tristana. Okay. Sorry.
Based on what I was saying with them not having a full-on engage, your Twitch kind of becomes your engage enabler. With the Galio coming in over the top, he kind of just sneaks in there and gives them less time to react to the Galio, maybe, is the thought process behind it. So I at least kind of see the game plan and the outline for the blueprint for why we draft Galio. Urgot just a general overall strong laner that offers both a decent amount of damage and tankiness. So
Well, they're doing second draft in the background. We'll flip over to it once we get a little bit into it. But this is week 3 of the playoff qualifier, or week 2 of the playoff qualifier, excuse me. Which means that we are winning in. Both of these teams 1-0 in the qualifier. So you win, you're into the playoff bracket. You lose, you have to play again next week in an ultimate decider match, where if you lose, you're eliminated. So this game doesn't have the huge gravitas on it, but if you lose, you could be in a lot of trouble depending on your matchup next week. So better just to get your win here and be safe, get that bye week, get a little rested, not have to face that. We have our first ever quadruple middle sticks game night. So the next, in terms of ordering, The next game we'd be hopefully looking at is Crowstorm taking on U.S. Army Esports Academy in CCS regular season. That game is win and in for them. If they get a 2-0, they're secured for playoffs. If they don't, then they need tiebreakers, and that can get a little shaky. So we'll hopefully check in on the Crowstorm boys. I don't want to. You don't want to badmouth tournament organizers, but like, it's a 5-week regular season. Like that was nothing. We haven't had time to finish up our other. I don't know. A little rough, but Crowstorm 2-2 right now, looking to go to 3-2, which should secure them for playoffs. So we'll check in on them. If they're also out of game, we check in on Dread, who are playing in the 2-seed bracket in Aegis Guardians. Basically, that's going to affect their playoff seeding only, but they are qualified for the final bracket. They're playing against TDS Knights, and then our 4th team playing a makeup game from week 4 are Banditos, also in CCS. They're getting into a rough spot in terms of their playoff performance, but for some reason Platinum is 3 weeks longer than Diamond is, so they've got a little bit of extra time, so we'll catch up with them later on, hopefully. But they're playing against Iridescent Dawn Eclipse in their game. Yeah, I think that covers it. Sorry to talk over you the whole time.
No, you're good. It's a very busy night for the ROTM brand and family, so there's probably gonna be some stuff that gets missed tonight. Obviously, we can't cover all 4 at once, so but like you said, we'll do our best to keep everyone updated as we can. Here I am, and like I'm getting into my ROTM team is starting to get into action too, as these other teams are getting into playoffs in the other league, and so it's a very busy time of year for ROTM in general. So, how's your voice? Are you doing okay with keeping up with all of this action,
So
Mr. Marist?
it's been weird. So we've had so many teams, but they're just on 3 nights right now. So we've been doing 3 nights for a while. It's about the same amount. The issue is that your meta shift is on a different night, and then Victorious is going to start up, and that's on a different night. So we're really going to be hitting it here soon. Although if you guys don't schedule games for like a time that humans are, oh my god, that humans are awake, then I won't be able to do it.
No.
I just had a bunch of dog treats spilled on me. Hold on.
How aggressively are you being attacked by Kale right now?
Actually not. I don't think he's realized that there's about 1 billion dog treats on the ground over here. Which is a little bit lucky. I was going to leave him a couple. Although he doesn't like these very much. It's really funny. He thinks that he wants them, and then you give them to him, and he immediately spits them out and puts them on the floor. And then he picks them back up, and then he eats them again, and then he puts them back on the floor.
It's a challenge. It's a mental challenge. I've had many obstacles like that in life, where I think I want them, but then I spit them back out and put them on the floor. So
That's much more profound than our dog that's had approximately 4 total thoughts in his life. So. Alright, I left him like 3 on the floor, so he can have those. Oh, he's realized. I can. I need a dog cam at some point, but...
Oh yeah, that would totally take the stream to the next level, is to get a dog cam for Kale.
But see, the risk is that it would have a human cam, and anytime that I'm on camera, it's like negative, so you have to offset it.
No, as far as the scheduling for our team goes, I feel like our team is pretty on point about wanting to play around the 8 p.m. Central-ish time frame, but where we're running into trouble is our opponents and having to kind of be flexible for them, or at least it was in week 1. So.
Well, I would appreciate if you could bump it up to 7 p.m. Central so that I don't have to stay up very late, or move it to Friday. But
I think our next game, again, just kind of talking to fill in some delay time. I think our next game is
Tuesday at 8.
Yeah. Oh, it is 8. So.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's 7 for Till, because we made fun of him because he thought when we played at 9 Central, he was playing at 10.
Yeah,
and
you
he
guys
was-
played the last one in 9 Central, which there's no way. 8 I can at least consider. But it's a little rough, you know. Anyway,
I mean,
we've
I mean,
officially
we-
killed enough time talking about other stuff. So, again, this is a winner go home ish series for Harvest. Um, so they really need to be on point, and as always for Harvest series, they're going 3 games. So settle in. We'll have a full night of Harvest and then regular League of Legends action.
I was just gonna throw in there that our current record indicates that we 2-0 every series that we play, so it'd be short for you at least. Granted, we only have 1 series worth of data to pull that from, but
Your scrims have also been pretty stompy from what I've seen. So,
indeed,
but you guys are also only 5th in the power rankings, so who knows?
right. Even though we have 3 of the top 4 in the fantasy points individual performance rankings too, so I don't know.
Which is a really neat thing, by the way. I love unique things that tournament organizers do, and I'll shout them out. So like Aegis, I really appreciate like the shield report each week. I think it's really neat. They kind of stopped doing it for some reason, but it was nice to have that little paper insight and get that in. CCS does a really great job with. They do reaction videos after every night of action, and they're very funny. So appreciate. I think it's Brinkles is the guy that does that. So that's really cool. And then, yeah, MSL does like fantasy points, and they do a weekly podcast, and they do in general a pretty neat job with their stream. I also really like, as a stream owner, I can post and tag everybody who's in or who has signed up for like Neon Watchers or Helium Watchers Club. Um, so we actually tend to get more people in to watch the MSL streams than any of the other ones.
Okay. I didn't know that that was a thing that they did either. It was the Neon Watchers Club or whatever it is. So that's pretty cool.
But yeah, it was always really fun last split that it was Harvest at the time played in was really enjoyable, just getting a bunch of people into the stream. And yeah, we're bantering in all chat apparently during all of this. Dilly recognizes some people, but Jungler's gonna start opposite sides. Scram's headed up to top side to maybe protect Saint or to try to accelerate him just a little bit. Meanwhile, Neptune Rises is headed down to that bottom lane to maybe prevent Dilly and Matsuro from getting a little aggressive early.
Yeah. I don't know what you can exactly do without a hard lockdown CC in the bot lane. One of the engaged supports necessarily as a Lilia into a Nami Sivir. You're kind of more relying upon them to misplay than actually create opportunities for yourself into that lane. So going to mid top where you have Galio that can be a heavy form of CC.
Level 2 for Dilly and Matsuro. They're going to go in, but Animantis and Slytorque hit level 2. The bubble comes down. Dilly really low, gets ignited. He's burning. It's not going to quite be the trade. Matsuro trying to fight his way out, but it's a double kill for Animantis.
That was really close on the AD carry trade. I think at best they were always gonna trade 1 for 2, or I'm sorry, not 1 for 2. There's a chance where they trade 1 for 1, I guess, if maybe Matsuro stayed in a little bit longer to help auto attack. But
I think there's maybe a world where Dilly like gets the Triumph proc and gets out away from Nami, but that's a rare world indeed. And now it's going to hurt quite a bit for Dilly. He's down 10 CS and the 2 kills. You can see Sivir coming back to lane with a completed Noon Quiver, and he's just sitting on his Doran's Blade.
And that's not really a matchup that gets any easier. Sure, Twitch scales and has some power later on, but the more items that Sivir gets, the less she even has to choose to fight him. She just pushes the wave out and tells him to farm under tower, right? So
Yeah, and
they
already
gotta
Neptune Rises and Slytorque combining to go ahead and grab that Scuttle Crab. Ooh, Oath might have something going here. The Winds of War doing quite a bit of damage. Do we have the Bowling Ball from Scrams? I don't think it does quite 200 damage just yet, but now that pink's coming out. Neptune Rises in the bottom lane. Crescent Strike hits, going in on Matsuro, just going to force that flash.
Yeah, that's one of the lanes where Galio has some all-in potential into the Tristana, but if she spaces well, then she can make his life a nightmare, especially given the fact that, you know, AD champion. Oh,
Oath is looking for the flash taunt into the Justice Punch, and he's got the kill. The tower shots are a little too much for him. He gets traded back.
it's still worth it for him. Tristana's going to be missing the wave underneath tower, and he gets a free reset off of that while just trading kill gold back and forth. So
Yeah.
overall, small net advantage for Oath in that play.
I wanted to point out before we get too much. Well, I still won't get to. Okay, they're fine. Lil Saint on the Urgot with the Cull start. Does that remind you of anyone? It's a throwback.
On Urgot with a Cull start.
Yeah, big
No,
shout out
it's
to
not.
Iron Man Fan 34 on Landsneck in OK LCS.
That's not something I remember that
The
distinctly, to be
the
honest.
the
So.
man played only Urgot and Urgot and Garen, and he'd start Cull every single game. That what a monster, honestly.
I mean,
You weren't playing top lane as much at the time, so I can see why that wouldn't reside in your memories. That was me, like, every single time. It's like, oh, we're fighting Landsneck. I'm fighting Iron Man Fan who's gonna pick Urgot and go Cull. How do I beat that?
I guess another thing is you know, God love them, good group of guys, not the greatest overall collective 5-man unit in that Get Wrecked tournament, so I also didn't pay a lot of attention to what Landsneck was doing.
That was always one when I casted Landsneck. You're just rooting for him. Like, come on, guys, just get a win, make it make it
Right,
feel interesting, make it competitive.
I remember when they were in one of those teams that went 0-2 all the time, and then they got their first game win, not even a series win, and it was a big deal in the Discord when they got their first game win. So
Yeah, everybody was a Landsneck fan. Is how that turns out. That's a dragon being taken in this game by Team Ambition Talent. Saint's looking for the solo kill in top lane. He's got the knees. He's got the ult. Can he get a little bit more damage? In comes the ult from Fythe. Gets the knockup. That's all turned sideways. And Fythe gets the... Do you think it's Fythe? I think I asked last time we casted them, and I don't remember. But
I want
Fythe
to say
gets the
fifth.
solo kill. You want to say fifth?
I like fifth.
I couldn't remember if it was fifth or Fythe or Faith was another consideration potentially, but
I think we landed on fifth.
okay.
I think.
I don't know when I
But
casted them last, but I recognize his name at least, and like Animantis as well.
And yeah, Neptune
Oh my
Rises.
god,
is
that's
also-
so much damage from Oath. He's got the combos, the aftershock proc. That was a really nice little trade from Oath. Gets the cleanse out of Thunder McBusters.
Oath playing really well this game. He's not ready for his season to be over, and he's really showing it so far in this early game. He's probably the biggest bright spot. Looking at the scoreboard, he is the biggest bright spot for Harvest this game, and
Grand Entrance is available. Scram's walking in. I don't think that they can really get into a position unless there's a big bowling ball coming through in the Lilting Lullaby, but Scram's just choosing to walk it on out. Kind of the risky run is Lilia, not the most gank pressure early on. And also falling a little off the pace of Diana in terms of farm, so do kind of need to see Scrams, I think, get a little more involved.
yeah, it's just tough because you kind of want to see that Twitch kind of come online, so you're trying to help him out, but at the same time, it's what we talked about or what I mentioned at the beginning, where it's in order to do that, that's more on Nami and Sivir to misplay than it is on you being able to force anything down there. So
Yeah, and even Slytorque walking and getting the interrupt, so Neptune Rises You can see how significantly ahead in his clear is just based on the number of camps that are available right now. There's 4 on the map right now for scrims to go collect. There's only 1 for Neptune Rises.
Yeah, we kind of glossed over it when it happened because the map is just busy in general in this early game so far. But I thought Saint played it really well, getting that first initial E on to fifth and forcing the flash, and like I figured that far underneath the turret, you're just happy getting the flash to set up for the next time you have your E available. But Saint chose to flash aggressively and didn't quite have the damage to get to ult range on fifth.
Yeah, the big issue is you're out of gas on Urgot once your knees are gone, once you've used um your disdain flip. Your ult only does 25 base damage. Fun fact. So can't use that really as a chunk. You have to use it as the execute only.
Right, and it's a little bit different once you hit level 9, you have that maxed out W, right? But, you know, like you said, in the early game, you have a limited amount of damage you get as Urgot really, and he just ran out.
Dilly's kind of playing with fire there. He's got to be careful. He does have flash available, but one bubble means that he's probably dead. Takes at least a lot of damage and can't really hang around. The Boomerang Blade didn't do as much damage as I thought it would do. Maybe Animantis isn't maxing it. I would check, but we're fighting up in the top lane again. Okay, let me check. No, he's actually maxing it. It just didn't do as much damage as I thought it would do.
Yeah, this is the part of the game where when an player figures out your trade patterns and how to play around you, that's always a tough spot for you to be in as a top laner. I feel like a lot of Ornn matchups are kind of who presses their buttons win and who's good at. And now that Fifth is kind of getting a read on how Saint wants to play the lane, and he knows when he can combo him and when he can force name backwards and things like that. Like, I don't know. After that exchange, I feel like a lot of the mental game has been won by Fifth so far, and it's up to Saint to change
Thunder
it.
getting the reset on the rocket jump means that Oath has to use his flash and mid lane, that one kind of bright spot for ROTM, now struggling a little bit with the trades. I think the bigger issue is honestly just the items. And yeah, Fifth even purchases his ninja tabbies from his own shop, and I don't know how Saint kills him ever now.
Yeah,
This is a play that's happening. Oath can join. He's got ult. That might be the big idea behind all of this. Dilly and Matsuro just trying to space out. In goes the Moonfall from Neptune Strikes, and immediately that's going to summon Galio back in. Big taunt from Oath. The Ram Jam comes on through from 5th, though, and now Dilly into the bubble. They're able to take down Neptune Rises and start peeling back. It's still 4v5 on the, or 4v4 on this map now, and Dilly falls. Oath starting to lose all of his health bar, and now it's all going sideways. Team Ambition Talent just running over. It's a double kill for Animantis. Or, no, for Thunder McBusters. I just saw Tristana. I was like, it's the AD. Yeah.
so when Ornn showed up, you basically at that point you have one of two decisions to make. Are you going to finish the dragon? You're going to peel back out because you don't realistically get to fight that anymore if Saint doesn't show and Ornn does. So once they got the pick on Neptune Rises, I think you're just happy saying, okay, they can't do drag, their jungler's dead, and kind of making them basically forcing their hand and making them show if they're willing to commit to it. But
Yeah, I'm not sure about the communication there because, like you said, you either have to call in Saint or peel back, and they did neither. And then Saint didn't even stick around in top lane to get a push in. He got his wave, went back to base, bought a Black Cleaver, and now he's back in top lane at the same time as Fifth. So he got no advantage out of that either. So I don't know. That it's just rough. You're kind of hemorrhaging gold that you didn't need to in that situation.
that right there is someone who plays top lane a lot and kind of has been in the situation where you think you're supposed to have a winning lane matchup, and then it kind of turns against you. That right there tells me that Saint doesn't have confidence in the lane anymore, because he took a very early reset.
Like, you know, the Ornn, even if the Ornn comes back unexpectedly somehow, he's not going to have ult because he used that in the fight. So, I don't know. It's a little rough. He didn't even use his teleport to go back in and, like, keep tempo. So you have it now, and it's unleashed, which maybe that's your big opening, is you need Saint to teleport in and help out with a kill. But TAT not letting up off the gas. Going to go ahead and start up the Rift Herald. Thunder McBusters is going to clear out bottom wave. And ROTM, what's the play?
Like you said, they're hemorrhaging gold right now, and this is one thing that, like, it's really easy for it to happen, is you kind of start getting reactionary when you get behind instead of dictating what you want to do. And really what you have to try and do is find opportunities that are just away from their power points. So that meaning right now it's a 2v1 in bot lane, so maybe you look to catch a Nami in rotation, or something of that nature. A Diana in the jungle, but
in good news, I've been pinged, and the U.S. Army Esports Academy didn't show up. Unfortunately, evacuated just like Hanoi, and I don't want to go too much farther with that. Regardless, it's a 2-0 win for Crowstorm, so they're going to advance to the playoffs, and now we only have 3 teams playing tonight. So, yeah.
the casters appreciate the service of the U.S. Army Esports, both literally and metaphorically right now. So, but yeah, I think it comes down to Twitch at this point. Urgot's never really going to be that power point that you want him to be now that he got behind the Ornn. And Galio isn't really a scaling damage threat. He's pretty linear, and he's more to just kind of say, hey, we got some magic damage. Lilia's probably your biggest magic damage threat, and the best scaler on your team outside of Lilia's threat to Ornn is Twitch. And so I think it becomes trying to make submarine plays with Galio and Twitch is the biggest way for ROTM to get back into this game.
Yeah, they've already got the objective bounties up here at 16 minutes. They'll even cash in one in the bottom lane. Fifth before too long, they'll get this top lane tower, which is pretty impressive. Ornn mechanics, Vebon would be happy with the way that he's played. Maybe upset that it's against ROTM.
I don't know, it just seems...
Sorry. Oh.
It just seems like Saint's really not respecting the pillar that Ornn creates. He's not even trying to stand away from it at certain times, and I don't know if he's trying to invite the contact to make an E easier for him, or what the idea is behind that, but he's oftentimes even positioning himself in between Ornn and the pillar.
Yeah, Oath has to use his Everfrost to try to get Animantis off of him, and interestingly, Scramps has gone for Riftmaker. Was sitting on just an amp tone, goes back and buys his entire mythic, but it's Riftmaker. Oh, Dilly?
I guess...
I'm not really sure what that one was. I'll be honest.
That might be a play of desperation where...
I don't feel like you have to be that desperate. Like, there's maybe a certain level of desperation you should have, but you can still afford to scale into this game a little bit. Like, sure, you're against double marksman, but I don't know. You need an item or two.
Yeah,
It's hard. It's how much do you want to analyze of that, right? How much of that's just, oh yeah, that was a tilt play, and how much of that is, oh man, we're super desperate for a pick right now, so I'm gonna flash 1v3 into Sivir and Nami and hope it works out.
Yeah, I don't know, because like you said, they're not even at the inhibitor line yet, so I don't know how truly desperate you are. Good interrupt by Diana.
Actually, Oath is very tanky. We're going to get the double teleports in. Saint will be here just a little bit before Fifth is, but that's enough that ROTM can't consider fighting the 3v3. And yeah, your damage is really going to have to come from the Lilia, it seems like, at this point. Oath is in trouble. He's going to get hit by the Horn. Oh. Was he trying to hide behind Saint?
I think he was hoping that maybe he was just tanky enough to barely live if he didn't take the ram jam damage. That's a potentially pitfall of a phrase, but yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. He was maybe just trying to see if he barely survived with, because otherwise, yeah, that positioning didn't make a lot of sense. If anything, you almost threatened to put Saint in danger there too by getting a double explosion and them diving him too. So
yeah, I was gonna say that if this is a solo queue game, I'm flaming my teammate for just trying to get the Tristana explosion on me, but we'll never know. Forge Fire Crest. I just saw that pop up. I was like, ooh, a Forge Fire Crest. That's just upgraded Orden. But that means that he's level 13. He's going to start handing out goodies to his team, and it doesn't get easier for ROTM to play the game. The one thing I'll say is that Diana does need to finish a Mythic at some point so that she can get an upgrade, but you have a couple of levels before Orden gets there. I don't remember.
looks like she going Proto Belt too, so
it could be Proto. That could just be Shadow Flame, right? I guess with the Blasting Wand it isn't, but
yeah, the Blasting Wand's what's making me believe it's Proto Belt.
What's the other one? Oh, Night Harvester. That's a meme. Yeah, it's Proto Belt. Okay. I was like, there's another item. What's the item? Oh, that's why I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't think you pick up the Blasting Wand if you're going Shadow Flame. I think that's yeah. So I'm very inclined to believe that she's about to get a Proto Belt here soon.
Which is interesting. The like de facto build right now is Nashor's Tooth and Sunfire Cape. That we're seeing a lot on Diana.
I guess she's
I mean, you're so far ahead, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, my team's ahead. I also have an Ornn to be a tank, and so I just want to be a squishy AP blow 'em up Diana assassin.
Oath is having the experience. He didn't need design. Oh, that tower shot. Oath wants this. You can tell that he wants this. Matsuro and Dilly just gonna eat the Ornhorn in the mid lane, and they'll be fine.
Yeah, that Tristana health bar was just dangling, teasing him, like a dog treat that he should spit back out on the floor. He's
yeah. If there's one thing I know about Oath, it's that he cannot resist a 200 or lower health bar, right?
Right.
Scrams is fine. He's just gonna. I don't remember what the name of her passive is. It seems important to know, but she's a deer. She's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I think I made it very clear early on that I'm not an ability name. I'm an ability letters type of guy.
So I know that the challenge, the Eternal, is called Mach Fawn for having your passive maxed out. It's like duration of time that you're at max passive stacks. Or Fawn Mach 3 or something like that.
Okay.
But I don't know what the ability is called. It's just Lilia passive. Yeah, Thunder McBusters has a 5-level advantage on Mats. Oh my god, that was 3 autos. Yeah, this is Mountain Soul. So everybody should be here for Harvest to try and scrap it out. We haven't really seen like a full 5v5 at this point in the game, but there's the teleport in from 5th, countered by the teleport from Oath, and Saint is in, looking for Neptune Rises. They'll get the Galio ult on top. Neptune Rises is down 1 for 1. It's not terrible thus far, but in comes the Ornhorn, hits everybody. Oath just trying to set a front line, but he's going to die to the explosive shot. Scrams is in the back line, puts people to sleep, but the Boomerang does not go to sleep, and it's a double kill for the Sivir. 5th now chasing down Dilly and Metzro, trying to kite away, but Twitch Lulu do not do enough damage to try to survive this one. They're going to slowly be chased down by Fifth and the squad. Another Q, another auto. Fifth is on a killing spree, and Metsuro is dead to Sly Torque underneath the tower. Why not? It's the Nami solo bolo. And Team Ambition Talent are rolling over this game.
Yeah, I think on this one, at this point in the game, you're already kind of analyzing what, with maybe not in fine detail, but overall concepts as to what went wrong this game and trying to make adjustments, maybe see if you want to take away anything from this draft that kind of you weren't expecting to deal with that was difficult, like maybe the Ornn. You don't really ever predict, I think, a Tristana mid. That's not unless you know what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that you
So-
discount it, but you don't.
I don't feel like that was overall the issue. Like, I think Oath played at that lane about as well as you can play it. And I don't feel like Thunder McBusters is having a good game, don't get me wrong, but your bigger issues, your glaring issues right now are in top and bottom. You got to pick your top matchup and you lost it. So, you've got to go back to the drawing board there and at least get something. If you're going to counter pick, make sure that it's a comfort counter pick, or you get something that's like generically strong, right? You go, what does they play? Like a Malphite, like a Scion, something like that, where even if you
Right.
lose lane really hard, you're still useful. And then your bot lane also, like you really prioritize that Twitch, and it hasn't. It had a rough time. I think that into the Sivir, it's not a great pick, but
The only reason I brought up the Tristana is because like a double AD carry composition is a lot of damage to deal with when it comes to objectives and things like that. So that's what I meant by something unexpected, not necessarily the Oath dealt with it poorly or anything, but just that kind of overall damage in the profile that their composition brings because of a double AD carry is kind of what I was more alluding to.
That's fair. I'd also love to see Scrams on something that actually gets a little more involved, seeing as he's yet to participate in a kill.
Right, like the Lilia is fine and great, as
It's one
But
of
it's
those,
like,
like,
it's
I don't
your-
even feel like Scrams is playing it particularly badly. I just think that Lilia doesn't fit Harvest, is kind of the fundamental issue.
yeah, so this is one of those things where like you kind of got to figure out what your roles are within the team and play to those roles, right? Like Scrams is
We're
kind
gonna
of
have
in a lot
a
of
desperation fight here for our RTM. They're trying to stand on this inner tower, and it's not going very well. It's 3 kills already for, or I guess one of those was a tower. It's 2 kills for TAT. Saint is going to die, and now the reset for Thunder McBusters. He's got a double kill, he's got a triple kill, and he won't really be able to find Dilly, so that should be everything. Dilly's going to emerge from stealth and immediately get Buster shotted back into the fountain. I don't think he kills him on the fountain. So, game 1, Team Ambition Talent, 18-3. It's a bit of a stop.
right. But I feel like in a lot of ways, Scrams is that voice that says, "All right, let's fight now. Let's go here." And like at least in the team play, I know we watch a lot of games where the bot lane kind of does their own thing, and all 3 lanes play independently of Scrams at times. But I feel like when it comes to objectives and things like that, Scrams is in a lot of ways the go button for Harvest, and so when you get behind, it becomes really hard to do that on Lilia. There are other champions that can probably do that more effectively and even contest space better whenever you're behind. So I think Lilia is kind of contingent on playing from an even to ahead standpoint, and it's tough whenever you get behind like that.
You want to watch Banditos or Dread then? They're both in game.
Which one's series tonight is? You'll have to remind me. Is more important. Dread is already locked up into playoffs. Theirs is just proceeding.
Yep,
Banditos actually is kind of needing some dubs, right?
yeah, they need a dub or 2, but they're like very middle of their season right now.
I mean, we can check in on Banditos and then come back to Dread in a minute or
Okay.
after the next.
Do you have someone from Banditos added? Do you have Lane or Formerly Karasuda, now a Toyota.
I have Lane, so
Okay,
I'll
that'll
check
work.
in with Lane.
They're playing ID Eclipse. That's IDE. I spelled that wrong. 3 letters and I spelled it wrong. They're on, of course, the opposite sides today. Alright, there's things happening in this game. Looks like RTM's gonna track down a kill here. My god, I still have music going in the background. Okay, let's see what we've got. 19 to 14 in favor of Banditos.
I'm going 4x speed.
Oh,
that'll
we'll go
still-
4x, yeah. We're zooming.
Yeah, because I'm a 26:30 and it's been kind of
26,
quiet.
30, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep, I'm
Okay.
caught up as well.
Yeah, so let's take stock very briefly. BKP, that's a tough combination of letters to mush mouth through. BKP is very far ahead on the Cassiopeia, but the rest of the squad a little bit behind for ID Eclipse, so really got to watch El Rush and Toyota get involved and have some carry performances for RTM. Unfortunately for El Rush, he's got a Medjai's, and I'm seeing 0 stacks right now on that one. Oh, rejected anew. Gonna get pulled into the death realm by El Rush. It's a 2v2 with the Shen in there. What is happening? There's the Ash Arrow coming in. El Rush is taking up everything. He's got a flash away. BKP just will follow him down and finish him off with the Cassiopeia. NBK on the flank, able to finish off Ward Box, and now BKP in trouble, gets hit by the Amumu ult, and it looks like it's going to be a net advantage for ROTM. They've got 4 on the map against 2.
I'm looking at the score line for Rush. It looks like it really is the curse of the Magi's, though. He has a nice score line, and I'm sure he upgraded the Dark Seal thinking he was going to be able to continue to extend that, and they probably just got shut down, so.
Oh, and Bubster apparently having a little bit of issues right now, so we'll take a quick pause. God. There's an NBK and a BKP against each other in mid lane. I'm gonna say BKB, just as a heads up, because that's a Dota item, and I've said
Okay.
I've said those letters in that order too many times to not say B instead of P. So apologies to BKP. These are probably initials.
We also have Blingo DX just to throw a couple extra random letters into the mix too, so.
Yeah, but that one you can just, it's Blingo. Like,
True.
you throw in
You
those
can-
extra letters, you're not getting them. Like, I'll say them once and then never acknowledge that you have them again.
Fair, that's fair.
I also don't know, Jesse's probably not watching. I don't know if he wants to be just called Toyota, because it's Toyota backwards.
Right,
But, like,
I saw that.
it's also a Toyot, but that's much less fun to say, so I'm just gonna go Toyota until told otherwise. And it's El Rush. I made sure to actually figure that one out, like, the first time I cast them, which I think is the only time I've cast them so far. I think that covers all the
El Rush.
Yeah.
El Rush is right up my wheelhouse because there's a professional wrestler who goes by El Rush.
Oh.
So yeah.
Um,
I don't know, spelled differently, so I don't know if he was the inspiration or if it's just a coincidence, but yeah, it fits.
so Rush was my favorite band during high school,
Oh,
which
okay.
doesn't, like, date me because I didn't go to high school during the time that Rush was popular. my parents just listened to classic rock, so that was, like, all I listened to through most of my life until, like, late high school, early college, basically. But yeah, Rush was like my second concert I ever went to. It was very fun. I've seen them 3 times, which is the most I've ever seen a band.
First concert I ever went to was Three Dog Night.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. My parents were also into the classic rock,
Yeah,
so
my first concert was REO Speedwagon and Styx, so we're right there.
um I am from Oklahoma. That's one of the like we're very close geographically. That's kind of how we met is through a league that was based
Mhm.
on lands and geographic distance. So you know that about me. For people that don't know that may be watching the stream, I am from Oklahoma, and the significance of that was Three Dog Night being very famous for that "Never Been to Spain, but I've Been to Oklahoma" song
Oh,
is a very popular hit in our state. So
see, that's not even like a top three song that I think about for them, but Rejected Anew is going in. Lane with a huge Curse of the Sad Mummy. Rush pulls Blingo into the Death Realm, but the other side of the fight is going very well for ROTM. Toyota and NBK dishing out so much damage. It's a double kill for the victor. BKP trying to kite back. He gets a big petrifying gaze. He almost turns that fight, and the Shen on the backline has actually collapsed it. It's a triple kill for NBK, but he's got to flash away from the last two members of ID Eclipse, and now they can start up on this dragon and further delay Soul Point for ROTM. NBK just trying to harass and buy as much time. If he can buy enough time for El Rush to teleport in, that would be a big blow, I think, but it doesn't look like he can really approach. Yeah, BKP is just way too strong on the Cassiopeia, and it's a shutdown that goes to Blingo.
So you were talking earlier about how BKP is extremely strong on this Cassiopeia and kind of the catalyst for his team or her team, their team. And if you're gonna have one champion that's ahead, Cassiopeia is a pretty good one as long as the player that's piloting it is comfortable and looking very much so like BKP is in a position to make ROTM's
Yeah,
quest.
that was a huge petrifying gaze to turn that fight around, and it's already back up, which is kind of insane. Um, but yeah, also wanted to shout out if you're unfamiliar with ROTM. Of course, we started being based in Kansas City, and most of our OG players still live Kansas City or Oklahoma, basically. um, we've since extended, and kind of surprised we've now represented 4 different countries, which is kind of insane.
Oh, that is wild. That is crazy. I didn't
Uh,
know it. I didn't know they were international now. So.
yeah, we had B Potts, who's Canadian, which is like the freebie on the esports bingo dice. But then we had White Tiger, who was from Jamaica, and Miggy played like 3 games while he was in Mexico, so we're counting that.
Fair. Uh, I like just for reference, our team, the surprise party team is. Well, I'm not original to ROTM. I'm original to the league that they started in,
Yeah,
and so
basically endemic at this point. You and Scrams, we'll count you.
so we're 3/5 OG members technically. Like if you go by that, and like, and that might be one of the higher concentrations out of the ROTM
Oh,
teams.
it's a huge Diana ult for Rejected Anew to try to turn that one. High Ping Hero goes down. Lane is just trying to get a little bit of space, but there's none to be had, and NBK is busy fighting Ward Box on the side. He's the only one left alive for ROTM, and now the gold lead in favor of ID Eclipse. They're headed to Baron, and with Cassiopeia and Sivir alive, this should be relatively easy for them. Blingo and El Rush just stuck on the bottom side doing top lane things right now. Cyber Brazil nice this time of year, and El Rush is going to try to dive the turret. This seems a little enterprising, but it looks like he's tanky enough for it. He's got that, actually. The battle of initialisms in the mid lane. NBK able to get the tower, but BKP, that's just not fair. Like, he didn't outplay him. He just kind of hit Q and then E a couple of times. He's got to the point where he is just ahead. He is very strong.
Yeah, and that's the difference between the damage profiles between Victor and Cassiopeia, right? Victor's also a late game mage, and MBK is not doing terribly on this Victor, but just the DPS output of a Cassiopeia is just nuts in the late game, and we see that BKP is already running pots and
Well,
gonna be difficult to kill.
and it's so hard, even if you focus on BKP. Um, and you're able to eventually chop down the Cassiopeia, there's still so much damage coming out of Bubster. He's 4 and 3, but he's got 4 completed items now on the Sivir, plus a stopwatch. Like, it seems really difficult for ROTM to find that miracle fight that they're going to need. It's going to have to be a rush 1v1ing somebody in the Death Realm and really making that worthwhile. But so far, he's dominating Blingo, but he hasn't been able to find that effect on the rest of the team.
It's probably gonna. You're probably looking for our backwards car to land a nice Ashe ultimate on someone that's isolated and start out a fight on 5v4 terms. If you're really looking to get a win at this stage in a team fight win at this stage in the game for ROTM, just because of the raw damage output, it's really hard to overcome just the items and the scaling on the other side of the map facing against them. But
Yeah.
we have a death bush set up. We could be seeing that.
Nope.
Sniffed it out. We're good.
Did you watch? Did you watch the Riot Please video? Or I guess they called it LOL Please now. From earlier today.
Is that the?
They highlighted like preseason changes and like
yes.
champions. Okay. Is it weird that I'm like kind of excited about new Chemtech Dragon?
No. I think that the adjustments that they made to the Chemtech Dragon are kind of nice. It feels bad for Poppy as a champion because you just gave her passive to a dragon, so that aspect feels kind of tough. But
I think the plants are actually really neat. I'm looking forward to seeing somebody like do some empowered blast plant plays. A lot of CC coming down on NBK. They're trying to find it, but a huge ult by rejected and new. Trying to find anything that they can. Rush pulls him into the Death Realm. In goes Lipo lane. They take down Morgana to start out the fight, but they lose lane. And in the back line, they'll bonk on through. It's 2 for 1 in favor of ROTM, but they used all of their fuel on it. Not able to secure the kill on BKP.
yeah, at the same time though, you got BKP to panic ult, and it really didn't affect the fight, and so you still traded 2 for 1. And for a team that just lost Baron, and kind of on the back foot at this moment, getting the inhib tower, getting a 2 for 1 trade, especially one of those being on the jungler, but unfortunate thing is all the neutrals are down, so the jungler's death doesn't matter as much.
And didn't really mention, but that was the 3rd dragon picked up for IDE, so we're headed to Dragon 7, and RTM hasn't... I think we cursed them. They were ahead when we came in pretty significantly, and we watched them lose a couple of fights in a row. I feel like this happens, but...
We are caster cursing all the teams we watch tonight, so...
It'd be like that sometimes, unfortunately. Gold lead is back in favor of ROTM off of the back of that play. El Rush is going to walk into BKP. I actually don't know how this fight's going to go. This will be really interesting. There's not a lot of nuance to the Cassiopeia versus Mordekaiser fight, so there's not much like telegraph. It looks like El Rush is doing pretty well, but they're going to call in the Shen as soon as she gets out of the Death Realm. The bonk isn't quite enough damage, and now El Rush has to try fight through 2v1. Oh, just out of range of the mace. Gets pulled in, but not into the passive. El Rush, does he have Flash Q? He doesn't quite have Flash up, so he's got to kite back out, get the healing. He gets the kill! It's a shutdown! He'll get the healing. Does he have the W? Not quite in time to turn it around onto Blingo, so the shutdown does go to the Shen, but that should mean that this is much less threatening. It's another huge ult for rejected and new, but the Gravity Well actually finds it. It's a huge ult from lane. Bubster is low. It's a double kill for NBK, and now they're trying to get Bubster down. They just can't quite kill the Sivir, and now they have to evacuate. There's no health bars left for ROTM. They had to straight tank that tower during that whole process, but they get another inhibitor tower, and they get another positive play.
They also got the outer tower on that lane too. They did. I was watching on the mini map. That was great cross map play by ROTM. They understood where they were at in the game, and the fact that they got the Cassiopeia away from the big group, and no matter the outcome of what the duel between Roosh and BKP was, they were going to capitalize with the play on the other side of the map while Cassiopeia wasn't anywhere near and couldn't respond to them. So really impressive macro game by ROTM right there. to take advantage of the fact that El Rouge found her, and also good job to El Rouge, able to trade 1-for-1 in that situation that was stacked against him.
Yeah, now it gets a little scary though. Baron is available, and everybody has to be buzzing toward that area. Everyone alive. It's a full 5v5 potential team fight. Blingo does have his ultimate available. BKP has teleport, and El Rush and NBK both have their teleports. So we could see some interesting setups for this, but you imagine this eventually devolves into a 5v5. I think
Yeah,
this
I think
is.
it's. I think you're just jockeying for position, and I think both teams are okay to fight. They just want to fight on their terms, so they're kind of looking to start it the way they want to, and that requires certain for RTM that requires certain members showing to know where they are.
Yeah, ROTM has El Rush on the bottom side. Matched up against Blingo, there's the possibility you can Death Realm the Shen and make sure that neither of you can get to the fight. Although I think at this point that might favor IDE. I think you need El Rush's damage if you're going to really contest. This is maybe a little bit sneaky. IDE seems like they're more focused on the Baron side, and ROTM more focused on this dragon that's about to come up in 19 seconds. And they might get a little pick here. They've got a Death Wish. The pings are not in the right spot right now for IDE. What are they looking for? Oh, don't hit it. If they're just a little patient. Okay, now they're going to walk in. This is maybe a little bit weird. Lane hits a big Curse of the Sad Mummy, rejected anew into the backline. Going to pull in NBK. El Rush is here first, trying to get in. Has the Death Realm available, but he's so low now. NBK and Toyota trying to kite back. Rejected anew is stuck so low. There's no health bars left, and El Rush is going to be the only one that dies out of that one. It's 2-0 in favor of IDE, and RTM are on the wrong side of the map now. Hyping Hero and NBK trying to get in, but the taunt over the wall from Blingo locks him up, and NBK is going to eventually die, you imagine. The Hextech Soul now being worn by the members of ID Eclipse.
Kind of unfortunate. They made an adjustment from the last time they tried to death brush and moved where they death brushed at. They just didn't leave vision behind to know where IDE was face checking into and whatnot, so they got a little antsy and revealed themselves a little too early. And Lane hit a good Curse of the Sad Mummy. It's just BKP was far enough away from the other members that by the time the Curse of the Sad Mummy wore off, nobody was in range to be putting damage into BKP.
Hawkshot sees the Baron die. A little unfortunate for ROTM, but now the members of ID Eclipse about as strong as you're going to get wearing that Hextech Soul Baron buff. They have the opportunity now to close out the game in the next 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, at this point, OTM, you're kind of again, I still don't think that like you're at the point in the game where you're 100% hoping for a mistake to happen to be able to salvage it. You still have tools to create a pick and, you know, shake this game up with the Mordekaiser and the Ashe ultimates. So there theoretically exists a world where IOTM can still win this and have control of the game, but at the same time, that requires a positioning misstep on the side of IDE, so I guess in a sense it isn't 100% in your hands.
Yeah. 4 isolated. They get the pull in onto Ward Box, but that's not really the big prize. Oh, they might have cut Rejected anew. The Ashe ult goes a little bit wide, but it does hit Bubster on the backside. Rejected anew, trying to find NBK. He's doing so much damage. The good flash by NBK, but he eventually dies to the burn damage. And now ID Eclipse running rampant through the rest of ROTM. Nice dash combo there from Rejected anew, and the damage from Bubster is able to secure everything. El Rush, the last one left for ROTM, and he's not long for this world. He'll be taken down, and ID Eclipse will close out game number 1.
Yeah, that was one of those ones where the one member on IDE, I won't say that one important that kind of insinuates that the rest of the team isn't.
He died in the tower. A little
Got
unlucky.
yeah. But the one person on IDE that was ahead was someone that was able to buy time and was, like you said, Sivir didn't have all the kills and the fancy numbers on the KDA chart, but was farmed enough to have 4 items pretty early on to her name, and so bought a lot of time and allowed the Cassiopeia being ahead bought a lot of time and allowed her team to scale into the game, and so ROTM did some good things even when they were behind, like feeling the scaling curve working against them. Like I said, that cross map play was really heads up and a good macro call, but uh, the overall damage output just was tough to deal with when we got to late game. It was a 43-minute game against the Cassiopeia and a Sivir, so there's a lot of damage you were staring at across the other side of the map.
Alright, looks like Harvest is into game 2, so that'll be our next target. Dread won their first game.
Oh,
so somebody's
nice.
on the board. Let's go.
It's the team we didn't watch. We are the curse. So.
Alright, well, let's go Curse Harvest again.
Alright.
We watched them last week, and they came back, so... Or no, they won game 1, didn't they? And then they lost game 2.
Yeah, I think they lost game 2 and then won game. Yeah, they were 2-1 because.
Well, they 2-1 every week, so this is basically a guaranteed win. I don't. There's a lot of characters in this game. Okay.
Oh wow, I'm hitting the 2x just to catch us up to real time, as close to real time as possible.
Same. So they put Sane on Malphite. They were listening to the stream. And they have Malphite Yasuo. And Diana Yasuo. And Nautilus to go with that. And Samira.
And
like, that's a wombo comp.
Champions...
That's first blood for Thunder McBusters on mid Fiora, though.
I was gonna say that's a bunch of champions that exist with the word knockup being a major part of their gameplay. 5 champions actually, so yeah, because even Samira can play off of knockup. So
yeah, she can juggle a little longer on the knockups. On the other side, 5th on Shyvana top, which is something that if I were playing top lane right now, I would be playing. I'd be a Shyvana Sejuani 2 trick probably. Although I really like Gwen, but she's just not as good. Anyway, 3v3 in the bottom lane. There's the juggle onto Slytorque. He's low. They're going in. Dilly getting the resets. They get 2, and Neptune Rises has to escape. So Harvest finding a positive play in the bottom lane. I also really like the Taric takeaway pick by Slytorque. There's so much nuance.
There's so many layers to this onion in this draft that like it's just a joy to witness it, you know.
I love. So there's the Shrek quote. That one's very famous, right? For layers to an onion. Have you seen Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog? Is that?
I have not. No.
Okay. There's a joke in there where he's got layers like an onion, and under that one layer there's a deeper layer, and then under that one there's a third layer that's the same as the top one. It's just like, what? That joke is very funny, but I am botching every bit of it. So anyway, recommend Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. It's like 45 minutes long, and it's very funny.
Gotcha.
This is another 1v1. Oh, he didn't flash the riposte. Has the knockup. Oath. Oh no, the tower. Oh my god. Fiora versus Yasuo is lit, as it turns out, but it's 2-0 for Thunder McBusters.
That is a champion I do not like. Champions that have scaling true damage as a part of their kit are disgusting to me. Like, I don't mind Olaf with his flat true damage, but I hate scaling true damage, and Fiora and Camille are all about that scaling true damage life.
Fiora was like the first champion I bought on release. like when she was released.
Yeah, but that was a
Chronologically.
different. That was a
It
different
was a different
champion back
character.
then.
That was old
that
Fiora
was
was my
that
my
was
shit.
that was Master Yi 1.5. You know, like
I just liked you'd build Tiamat and then ult, and you'd get the AoE ult out of it while doing an AoE ult. It was very fun. But
indeed.
um, yeah, current Fiora is a champion I wish I was better at, but you have to put time into that, and I don't do that. So it sits on a shelf with Riven, where I pull him out every once in a while just because I want to pretend like I'm mechanically proficient at something, and then I'm not, and it's very sad.
You got the Camille as a pocket pick for yourself though, and that's a champion that, like, as a top laner, I don't care to put the time in on her, but like I hate playing against
Yeah,
her. She's one of those can't play or can't play against hers for me.
teleport comes in from 5th to try to stop the dive from Scrams and Matsuro, and they will successfully defer that. They kick you out, Kale? Why are you over here? um, my dog came over
I
to
love
see me, even though there's 4 other people in this house right now to go visit, so I'm a little honored.
I love the adjustment.
Oh, Torque is caught? Do they actually finish him off? They do. It's the Ignite from Matsuro, unfortunately. I think it's the last tick, but as my grandma used to say, a dead noob is a dead noob.
What?
What? Oh! It's the Galaxy Brain outplay! Oh no, it isn't!
I
um,
hope
oh no. Oh no.
I hope that those gentlemen are able to laugh that one off too, especially Saint with that. We we caught that in all its glory on stream, and so
Um, yeah, this dive is going a little bit better for RTM. Scram! Oh, that ramp. See, if they hadn't readjusted the ramp for the tower shots, Scrams was fine, but unfortunately they bug fixed it. Or was it only top tower? I don't remember anymore.
wait, how did Matsuro die then?
He tanked initially and just
Oh,
didn't
gotcha.
have any
Okay.
health. He has stopwatch though, so I don't know why he didn't use that, unless he just bought it, in which case I'm trolling. Or it just came off of cooldown because he's got the glacial, and it might have come out at 9 minutes, which would be too late. But I don't know.
All right. I think I figured out what that flash was that we saw.
Um,
I I think he was maybe trying to bait the riposte by like getting Fiora to panic whenever they
oh,
saw him flash.
oh no, she got back in smite range. Um, this fight is happening. Oath is just trying the exhaust now. Gets the knock up another auto, but Thunder McBusters is here, and this is the risk that you run playing the game. Thunder McBusters is 4-0 on the Fiora, has a Gore Drinker completed. Oh, Jinx Rocket just a little wide, and now in comes Scrams looking for Animantis and Sly Torque. Torque is only level 5, so they're just going to focus on the Taric to start out with, which seems reasonable. Do you have Moonfall? You don't need it. The dash forward from Dilly. He sees his moment, and he goes in with the Inferno trigger. Animantis is low, and it's enough for Dilly to get the resets and die. Or not die. Live. The opposite of die, in fact. Please talk. I fucked that up. Go ahead.
I was trying to sit there and go, what was that in the top lane? I know we're going back to like 3 minutes ago, but my thought process trying to figure out what would cause us to see something so crazy is maybe he flashed trying to get Thunder McBusters to panic parry because he was afraid of his ult getting parried, and so he wanted the similar animation by flashing, but it didn't bait out the parry, and so it just looked silly.
That's an interaction. I guess you are unstoppable when you use Shyvana ult. Alright. Um, an unstoppable force meant an unstoppable dragon, and that didn't work out well for the force. Oath loses this all the time. I like the confidence to go for it, but you're on Noon Quiver to Gore Drinker, so you just can't.
Right, and at this point, Fiora's like, all right, you want to just come into me, you make it to where I don't have to chase you down. One adjustment, Scrams on Diana, a champion that has a little bit more agency than Lilia. We've seen that be put to good effect with the bot lane. We are looking at a situation that's very familiar to Harvest, where the bot lane is ahead while the solo lanes are struggling. We have the Joshua champion, though, that can, at any point in the game, flip this on its head if he gets to that 2 items, so...
Yep, just need a little bit of patience from Oath, unfortunately. I love watching the games where he pops off, but unfortunately you have these every once in a while on Yasuo as well, so it'd be like that sometimes.
They don't... I know Shyvana is a nice hybrid damage, more leaning towards the magic these days, but they don't have a ton of magic damage to chew through the Malphite. And even Scrams' Diana, if he goes the traditional, or the more popular Diana build.
Which it looks like he's doing, yeah, he's got the Ruby Crystal. Sly Torque caught just a little bit. He does have Cosmic Radiance if he needs it. That hook looks like it didn't quite connect. Maybe it did. I'm not sure what's going on anymore, but there's the Cosmic Radiance coming out. Oh, the late knockup from Oath. If he'd hit 2, I think he goes in on that, but he only hit the 1 on Tarek. And so it goes. Unfortunately, if you are Saint, you can't just straight itemize armor because Fiora exists and is now very fed, and she'll eventually kill you.
I mean...
Oh, they're looking for it. Okay, I think they get this. Cheese wheel? One more auto. There it is, and you give it to Oath. That feels pretty good. They're going to lose Dragon, but you made a play on the other side of the map. Scrams might go for a steal. Oh, didn't hit the Crescent Strike, so... He's getting chased now. I don't know that he knows he's getting chased. Now he should know. He's out of there.
Pure armor doesn't protect you because, like you said, the Fiora, but still doesn't make sense to build any MR, so...
Right. Yeah, you don't have to build MR, but you do need some health, which also doesn't protect you against the Fiora, so... You know, what's really the point anymore? Probably just build AP.
Yeah.
Don't actually build AP in this situation, for the record, but...
Listen, you just go Frozen Heart into Zanya's, into Deathcap, into... Yeah. Maybe not. But...
Yeah, then you don't one-shot anybody and you die. Nice.
The best... the best defense is a good offense or something? I don't know.
You get the worst of both worlds.
True. And then not just Fiora shreds you, but their entire team, so... Yeah, the Fiora is going to be a pain point for them. Just because of how ahead she is. But at the same time, it's not free for...
They're looking to run it back up here in the top lane. Oath is walking on up. You'll have Malphite ult in just a second, but you also have Shyvana ult, which... There it is. Nicely showcased. The Dragon's Descent from 5th.
Meanwhile, Thunder McBuster freely hitting the wave in bot lane in the face of both Matsuro and Dilly.
Oath thought he could walk back to mid lane, but unfortunately he cannot. He's trying to get the turn. Nope. That was a little enterprising. I like the look, but he was a little
Yeah,
caught.
You're dead anyway, right? At that point, so you might as well see if you get a lucky crit or something.
Yeah, I wish he hadn't used the exhaust. That's the only note I have. Maybe you need that later.
Fair, very fair.
Other than that, yeah, no particular issue with it. You gotta try and do it. You know, best case scenario, you get your highlight montage, and worst case, it goes exactly the way it was gonna go. So.
True. But I don't think he was ever killing Tarek or Poppy. I think you were just hoping to trade for the Jinx at that one, but yeah, this is Fiora right here. 1v2 and has all the agency in the lane, so...
Yeah, Jinx about to cash out her Cull as well, so the scaling well and truly on for Team Ambition Talent, and ROTM with their more early game focused comp is going to have to find a couple of plays here in the next couple of minutes to try to swing the balance back, because they're 3,000 gold down. They haven't won a team fight in a bit, but you also haven't really seen one with Dilly in it, and he's the big X factor, I think, for ROTM right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say our team is early game. They are in the bot lane for sure, but like Yasuo scales really well, and so does Diana. They have scaling of their own. It's just more of a wombo combo.
Yeah, you just don't have Jinx Fiora scaling is, I think, the bigger pain point.
Yeah, yeah. That's fair. That's fair. But you have two scalers that can absolutely delete the Jinx and make it just Fiora scaling in the blink of an eye. With Scrims and Oath are able to
True, and there's a point where you have enough damage. It's not like Fiora is unkillable. You have to continue to use your abilities correctly. Not at every point. Like right now, I think you're pretty unkillable, but once you get enough damage on the side of ROTM, like it's going to have to be a flip back to you have to use your W and R correctly as Thunder McBusters, or at least not super wrongly. And there's a chance that a misstep could really spell some things for ROTM. And I mean, right now even, you get that kill on her, it's 800 gold. That helps turn everything back around. I just don't know exactly how you get it at the current moment. Dilly looks like he wants to try. They're going to call in a teleport from Saint to try to start that one off, and there's a 3v4 happening around this dragon area. Oath dancing around, but the Cosmic Radiance going to land. Animantis is the only one that doesn't get it, and that damage from Oath is not damage, in fact, because of the Derrick ult. And they didn't track down Thunder McBusters in the bottom lane either. Saint is walking on in. He'll get the ult onto 2, but there's no real follow-up just yet. Now the dive in, but the Poppy W is enough to stall out everything. And Dilly now trying to kite back away from Neptune Rises. He's low. Everybody is so low, but in goes Dilly with the Inferno trigger. He gets one. Thunder McBusters flashes over the wall, hits the riposte, just trying to get it. Does win this grand challenge, and now healing back up, and I don't think anybody can really deal with that one. Scrams could hit a big moonfall, and it wouldn't matter at this point. It's a double kill for Thunder McBusters, and Team Ambition Talent comes away with another teamfight win.
Yeah, that one was it was a shot. ROTM took a shot. And you know they're behind, so it played out the way that most people that have access to the gold charts understood that it would. But I think they were just trying to get a fight while Fiora wasn't there, you know. So. But like outside of Jinx, when Fiora's not there.
Oh, the Taric in the pocket for 5th means that Oath cannot escape. Oh my god. Yeah, there's no shot. Approximately 0 shot for Oath there.
So this is kind of the thing, right? It's like Fiora is deceptively tanky because of her W and the healing in her kit, and well, that's 3 other beef balls and then Jinx, right? So like, if they're killing you when they're this far ahead just because you don't have enough damage to kill them, like, who are you really trying to pick off?
I do think it's weird that 5th went for Randuin's Omen 2nd. That spot is like soft reserved usually for Demonic Embrace because it feels really good on the Shyvana E.
So, I've been saying there's 2 builds that you can go, and it typically comes down to what you want to do as Shyvana. If you want to be a duelist, Bork is the second item, and if you want to be a team fighter, it is the Demonic Embrace.
Yeah, what Randuin's Omen this time just for a little bit of extra tankiness. Dilly gets smited by Neptune Rises, which might be enough to deter it, and Scrams is going to go back to base. Poppy Ult is still like just one of the most satisfying abilities in the game. Hitting that Keeper's Verdict, just sending people flying. It's also one of the funniest. There's so many fun interactions with it. I hope they don't change that ability ever.
The Skarner, you get to come with me. The Camille, I'm not going anywhere.
And then,
Um,
you know, you mess up and it's maximum fun. You can send people back over, like, the Baron Pit, and, like, there's some nonsense things. We're going to look for a kill on Thunder McBusters. There's 4 people here to try to kill the Fiora, and there's now 5 people here to try to kill the Fiora. The Fiora should die. Who's going to get the kill? It's Oath, taking it greedily for himself, and that's a 1,000 gold shutdown for him, and a Baron for Team Ambition talent.
Okay, normally you're not happy trading 1 kill for the Baron, but given the shutdown that was on Thunder McBusters and who the shutdown went to, and the fact that you probably weren't contesting that Baron
Ooh,
anyway.
they're going to get 2 towers maybe as well. Like, this isn't the worst trade in the entire world, assuming that they can hold on against the Baron push.
Right, that's what I was about to get to.
Oh, and assuming they don't stick around too long, because in comes 5th and Neptune rises from the side. Oath is trying to dance away, and oh, that's Scrams actually collapsing, looking for 5th, but Oath is going to get torn through, and now Scrams is in a lot of trouble as well. Dilly trying to walk it on out, but he'll get stunned, and it's just Scrams left alive. So now, it's gone wrong. You should have just been happy with the 1 turret, I guess. Scrams is trying. Oh, he was trying.
That was up until the comfort and overstay of the game, you know, right there, they that was a somewhat acceptable trade for the side of ROTM to get that nice shutdown, get it on Oath, get some tower bounty, and then you kind of reset and get ready for the Baron push. But then
you have Oath up, you have Malphite Yasuo right now. If they can find the combo, there it is, that's 4. Oh, it was only 3. They're still looking for it. Thunder McBusters is still alive, though. He gets the grand challenge, gets the little bit of healing. It was only a 1-tick heal, but Dilly, Inferno trigger. Oh, not quite enough time or duration on that one. It's a double kill for Thunder McBusters, and it's just Scrams left alive, and the rest of TAT escapes the base. I had to hold up my sentence for a second to make sure they all did escape the base, but they're on out.
It was I don't even hate that look by Matsuro at this stage in the game to blow flash to try and get a flash hook on the last trailing member. Unfortunately, it didn't connect, and they all get out safely, and kind of looking for a miracle, although it doesn't look promising given that you just got a Malphite Yasuo combo on 3 and you were only able to kill the Taric support out of it. So
yeah, at the same time, there's not a game-ending objective on the map right now, so you do get a little bit more time to farm and try to scale. You have 2 items on Yasuo, you'll have 2, almost 3 on your Samira. It's no match for the 3 items on the other side, but you're starting to get there incrementally at least.
I don't think that Oath had the completion on the. I might be wrong. I don't think he had the completion.
He bought it at 23.58, so it was after the base fight.
Right. So that would have made some difference. You might have gotten the Jinx in there too with your target kill. But
you can't do this though. This is a game-losing pick if it happens, and Saint has the flash. Okay. Engel says that overstay of the game is trademarked, and you're going to be hearing from his attorneys. This is all toe. This is not a RotM thing.
Okay, so
please don't send the attorneys after our org. We don't have any money, but Toe, he's making the big bucks now, right? That's why he moved to Tulsa.
I get a cease and desist letter before I'm ever charged anything, so I'm not worried about it. At this point, I'll take a cease and desist if it comes to it. But
yeah, they're gonna find 5th. This doesn't look particularly promising now that the Taric ult has come down, and they do successfully disengage without losing anyone, other than half of Oath's health, and he's continuing to stay on top of the Shyvana E, which is maybe a little bit questionable. But RTM is still alive. Oh, the engage was just onto the Jinx, who was a little separated from her team, to be fair. But they're losing the base right now because Thunder McBusters is on Nexus turrets, and now he's on the Nexus. And this is all getting interrupted. Dilly just kiting back away. This fight essentially doesn't matter, but it's going pretty well for TAT anyway. Yeah, this is the end of the game one way or another happening right now. Animantis picks up another kill, and the Nexus gets picked up by Thunder McBusters.
Also, I'm pretty sure the trademark belongs to, if anyone, it's Scrams that gets the trademark, and so I don't think there's problems using that phrasing in a game he's playing. So uh, I'd be happy to hear from the lawyers about a cease and desist if necessary, but I think it's full intellectual property to use that in a game that features Scrams too. So, but on a more serious note, we saw the idea for Harvest there, getting a wombo combo going, but a Fiora that just wins small skirmishes that are less than 50 health apart in the early game and snowballs that to a 4-0 lead. That's tough to deal with. So
Yeah, it's a 2-0 for Team Ambition Talent, and now Harvest has a winner go home next week. We'll see who they get to play against, but it gets scary at that point. There's going to be very few teams left in the running, and you gotta win at that point. There's no other choice. So we'll see Harvest again next week, and that might be their last week. So we'll see. Where are we gonna jump? I guess there's 2 games going on. You want to go back to Banditos, or you want Dread?
let's give Dread some screen time. We haven't. I'm gonna have to piggyback. I don't know. I don't think I have anyone from Dread added.
I thought I told Aeropox to add you last week or 2 weeks ago. Maybe he didn't.
He did not.
Oh.
He added me to the game, but
he added you to the game, but he didn't add you. That's stinker. All right. Well.
Can I piggyback off your spectate? Is that still a thing?
I don't think it is. You can definitely try.
Oh, it is still a thing.
Oh.
I think it has the option highlight. Oh, it doesn't actually move.
Yeah, it doesn't go anywhere if I remember correctly.
And I'm color commentary, so I'll do what we do in a lot of these situations and do a delayed color commentary on what I see on the actual stream. So.
Well.
All right. Well, that's a good way to start tuning in. Is Akina slash Bing Bong getting a solo kill on Kale. So.
Yeah. I just noticed there's an Uncle Crow on the enemy team. That's a little unlucky. We should probably recruit that guy.
We can find a roster to put him on, given the name.
Yeah,
so.
Uncle Crow, if you're out there listening, we've got a spot for you. In fact, it's mandatory. We're the Crow team. We are the funny Crow team.
I think Smitty's work schedule might be weird for him in the next league. So if there is a team to be made, I think there is a support position that might be up for grabs. So that works out. So not that I'm like trying to actively shop.
Yeah, not that I think
Smitty's spot.
We also shouldn't be poaching, I think, live on stream.
Oh,
but I think a team got banned for that. I'm not 100% sure. We haven't officially reached out to him in any official capacity. For the record, Aegis, if you're watching, Bing Bong just trying to scrap out with Fish Emulsion, which is a hell of a name, and he's not winning this. That's traditionally how the Irelia versus Kale matchup is going to go. So I'm very curious about how it didn't happen that way early on. Smitty gets the knock-up, able to find Uncle Crow hanging out in the jungle, but no one really to join. Gid, now in search, hits his W. And his Warwick, like when your Blood Set activates, you have to follow it, right? Like there's no other option?
No, I don't know if that's true. A lot of times I typically enjoy having my blood scent active if it's on the same half of the map as me. I use it as a traversing.
Oh, good flash by Swedish Pancakes, able to get away from Gid's ult, but you can see what Gid is looking for there in the mid lane with his Infinite Duress. Now WG. We're just going to go 1W, 1G, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if there's like a significance to there being 7 Ws and 5 Gs.
Yeah, I don't know.
unless he's really trying to like emphasize the sound of, you know, like.
Oh yeah. Fish Emulsion gonna find another solo bolo up in the top lane. WG just goes up there and throws the thumbs up, which is apparently against league rules. I found out, or our Masters team found out this week, as they lost a ban because they were emoting in game.
Oh, you can't even emote to your own teammates, huh?
Presumably, if the other team makes a stink, well, according to the rule book, essentially, is if the team makes a stink about it, they can go to the admins with it and talk about the feelings being hurt over a button that you literally can hit. You can mute emotes. That's not impossible. It's not bugged right now either. So.
Yeah, I don't know, and I also don't know about the legit. Like, I mean, obviously it's their rules.
Why does
they're
okay? WG had 3 Sheens there for a second. He's good now. He returned 2 of them.
Well, you know, he backed with a healthy amount of gold if he had 3 Sheens at once, and he's just feeling himself at that moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably one of those situations, like, you go to Walmart, but they don't allow you to go into the dressing room, so you, like, just buy 3 sizes of jeans and compare what's gonna fit, and you return the other 2.
I like how Sheens and jeans have become synonymous with each other. I think the most surprising thing of this whole game is to see Aeropox on a quote-unquote standard mid laner. That's not something I'm used to.
Yeah, that's a fair assumption. Bing Bong is in trouble again, and this is why you do the counter matchup. This is not fun for Kale for a long time, if ever. I'm pretty sure Irelia just beats Kale. If you're ever really frustrated by ranged top laners existing in your video game, pick Kale, by the way. It's miserable at level 1, but every level after that is very playable against pretty much every ranged top laner. Big Wombo engaged. Smitty only gets the 1 charm, though, but they're still layering in a lot of damage from Atlas. Another knockup follows. Can they get the actual damage down? Not so dark. Flashes away, but he gets outplayed by the R button of Aeropox, and it's 2 kills for Dread.
So my pick in the ranged top laners recently has been Sejuani.
That's also fair.
For the sake of, listen, I know I'm just gonna go hit the wave all at one time with my W and try to clear as much of it as possible. And when I do this, I'm gonna make sure my passive is up. So you hit me for like 2% of your normal damage, and I take 10, and then I regen it with my Doran shield, and then do the same thing over and over again. And we just handshake the lane, except I'm infinitely more useful than you because I'm Sejuani. So
Yeah, my all-time favorite pick to play against ranged top laners is AD Fizz, but that doesn't exist right now, so you can't do that. So it's probably just Camille, because I'll play Camille into pretty... Well, when I was playing it, I would have played Camille into anything. Shout out to the 2 million Master Garen that I played against in finals. No, it's Aegis.
I was thinking about the Fizz as a person that's a converted mid laner, like doing basically the Diana build on Fizz, you know, but I don't know. I haven't really gotten to dive too deep into it yet.
I don't think that works particularly well, just because your damage is a dot. You're not like applying extra magic damage each time you auto. You need it to do the full duration, otherwise it doesn't really matter. So, I don't know. Maybe it works, but I don't feel like it's good, and I don't know why you would pick it over, like, Sejuani and Shyvana are champions right now.
Right, true. I know Aurelia works really well into range top laners just because of her ability to gap close and do it frequently, but it's also a champion that requires...
Infinite Dress on Uncle Crow. Atlas is going to get the pick. The Berserk comes through, but it doesn't really matter. Now Atlas just slowing up WG. He's looking for this fight, but Gid is healing more than WG is, and they'll get the kill on that one. 3 kills now for Gid. Smitty gets the knock-up. They're trying to turn this on to Fish Emulsion. Bing Bong has the Divine Intervention, just trying to get the damage, and it's not quite there. And now Smitty is in trouble, gets a knock-up under tower, will get the shutdown, which is a little unfortunate that it goes on to Smitty, but Irelia is off the map for a little bit, and with that, With that kill, objective bounties are going to fall off. Remarkable.
All because of the one kill on Aurelia, objective bounties go away.
They were
nuts.
going away slightly before that because of the play in the bottom lane, but Aeropox and Swedish Pancakes just scrapping it out. Arrow needs one more ability to land. He can ult now, I think. Maybe this shield from Swedish Pancakes, but he's out of mana. That's a tough one. It's a no contest in the mid lane, unfortunately.
I'm a big fan of TDS's names, though.
Yeah, I was reading their like when OPGGs get linked, I usually just briefly look at them, just to see how terrible the names are going to be to cast, or if I have to, think hard about how to censor somebody's name because they're stupid and want to name themselves, Dick Butt 420 or whatever.
But Fish Emulsion, Swedish Pancakes, and Uncle Crow are 3 that are pretty fun and entertaining to cast for.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, even not so dark. At least he kept it simple for us, right? I mean, the only outlier is Woog.
Yeah. W7G5 up there in the jungle, which is still way too many. Like, I don't know. W is like an initialism is just terrible because it's 3 syllables for 1 letter.
Things you don't even think about until you pass somebody else's game, right?
Yeah.
Like you never think about that if you saw it in solo queue, because you're not actually saying it out loud, right? So.
Yeah, and at least if it's like a nonsense word, you can play Pokemon Pharmaceutical or Mineral, but you can't even do that with www.ggggg. Get is caught, and he's got the Infinite Duress over the wall. Doesn't even need the ult from Bing Bong, and ROTM really can't contest, but they also didn't die, which is kind of a Pyrrhic victory in and of itself right there.
Yeah, I just
Atlas is looking for it. Swedish Pancakes forces him to flash. In comes the Vanguard's Edge, though, and Fish Emulsion is into the backline. They'll find 2 immediately. The Berserk goes off. Gid is very fast, and he'll run into his backline and wreak some havoc before falling to WG. And they get the pick anyway after everything has been delayed, and it's just Aeropox and Bing Bong left to try to defend. Fish Emulsion looks like he wants to threaten, but not going to have the Flawless duet available.
Well, here's the hard part. You got a lot of scaling between your top and your mid, but I mean, they're so far in comparison to their counterparts, they're so far behind where Aurelia's at that do they just ever get to the point where they even get to come online and contest? Because Warwick falls off and he's got a lot of the gold. Ashe isn't exactly a late game AD carry, so you really are dependent upon your 2 magic
the interrupt
damage.
onto Uncle Crow. Gonna get the flash. Aeropox, unfortunately, it wasn't quite as well timed as maybe it could have been, and Swedish Pancakes and Not So Dark are able to collapse and take down Arrow.
But yeah, this is the difficulty now is you're looking for Bing Bong and Arrow to come online and just become late game monsters, but Aurelia is always going to be a threat to both of those champions, as well as Swedish Pancakes. No matter what the scaling's like, they can both be blown up within a couple globals. And then the rest of your scaling on ROTM isn't that hot, so it's really, you're kind of in a tough boat right now, in my opinion, with the compositions and the game state.
Yeah, ideally you want Kale at this point in the game to be able to stand in a sideline by her own and maybe even bully the person that's into it, but you're still an item and a half away from maybe being able to accomplish that, and I don't know that you can get there before Irelia gets to 4 items, so how big is that disparity? They're doing what they can. Look at how many jungle camps they've been handing to Bing Bong in order just to try to keep him relatively level. Arrow, I don't think can really tussle with Swedish Pancakes, but Sheila going to be picked up right before the despawn by TDS, and now they'll group up in mid, as you do.
Yeah, because, I mean, I don't even know if the level 16 spike is what you're looking for at kill now. I think you have to have the items plus the levels, and so you're looking to like get to where you're at least within components of Aurelia, right? When
Yeah,
they say
and
that, he pushes her back, but that's also because he's under turret. So
yeah, the issue isn't this. Like, you can exist underneath turret pretty much the entire game. Like, I don't know that there's like I'm sure there's an item, but we probably won't see it this game where there's an item breakpoint that Irelia can just straight dive Kale under turret. You just have too many tools. But you need to be able to eventually start counter pushing and working your way across the map as Kale, and that I don't know that we're gonna see at any point.
right, and so like at this point, it if your Aurelia can go and isolate the Kale, and then your Veigar is behind and can basically be blown up by and threatened by Vex and even just a Renata ult, then where do you go as ROTM? Like what's your win con at this point if you know that your kill is gonna basically be isolated by Aurelia and
Oh,
your
and
Veigar's constantly under threat?
Arrow's doing the thing. He doesn't. Okay, so you're Veigar. You don't need to be. You don't need to build a fuck ton of AP to do a billion damage, and you really don't need a Void Staff. You don't like the tier is fine, but you can't complete that item. Don't buy an Archangel Staff. You don't need double scaling. You go Death Cap second, and then you buy tank items.
Right. I mean, I looked at the jeweled crystal and it was one of those things where like it the one area where I see the jeweled crystal making sense is your Trundle stealing tanky stats, and if your the Trundle's the one in your face that you can't kill or whatever, then I mean, I don't hate the jeweled staff if you leave it at the jeweled staff, but I agree with you. It really should have been 100%. Like that should be one of your needlessly large rods, and I just
Oh,
hope he
he's
doesn't
going to
make the mistake.
Morello's too. Oh no, not like this.
Yeah, that's tough. The itemization right there is.
Like it's not actively losing you the game, but
It could be a
you're
lot more efficient.
you don't
'Cause
have
it's
a
just
big front line and you don't have that big counter engage. So if you can stand there as Veigar and just tank a little bit, you're infinitely better off in this game. Especially because your cage is kind of it's the ability. Like that's it. You have the follow up from Rakan, you have maybe the initiation from Warwick, but that cage is what's going to allow you to either disengage or engage a fight. And now you can't get into a position to really do it. This is going to be a potential Earth Dragon Soul, which is going to make it that much harder for ROTM, but that was always going to happen. Um, so yeah, would love to see the like de facto best Veigar build, which is the best Veigar build right now for a reason.
right, and yeah, it's just
Because right now you're on garage sale components. Like even though you're going to have a bunch of AP, you're only going to do a little bit more damage than you would if you just went Death Cap and then tank items. And your utility that you've
realistically.
gotten is Magic Penetration, which isn't a super valuable stat because no one's building Magic Resist, and Heal Debuff, which
Your
I
Rakan
get.
already has. Like,
I, I I get wanting the heal debuff into Trundle Irelia, and eventually, you'll get the healing on Ezreal, but you don't need it right now. So yeah. Anyway,
you're
I've
also
harped on
not
that
gonna.
itemization enough, but
Yeah, you're also not gonna see Irelia in a situation that really matters for quite some time, and so you're really only buying it for Trundle at this point, and you already have Smitty that has it, or was working towards it. I mean, Smitty didn't have it at the time, but he had the Amp Tome to build towards Chemtech Putrifier, and so like, yeah, it's just I don't know, it's tough, because like here's the thing, you're you're behind in gold, so your window for being able to spend your gold is shorter than you would like it to be, and so your choices with your gold matter more when you're behind than they do when you're ahead. And so yeah, this is you're putting yourself in a bind with your itemization to a degree. Not because it's bad, because it's not the most optimal it could be, and it needs to be when
Oh,
you're
and there's
behind.
another. Okay. Bing Bong's picking up heal debuff as well. You hate to see it.
Yeah. Because at
I
this
don't.
point you're not even looking to fight the Aurelia. You're just looking to wave clear. So getting that at that point in time,
Then
I,
you're
I
you're less on toward what? Rageblade,
either
Wit's End, Zanya's.
Zanya's Death Cap. Like yeah, there's almost any other item that's not that. Like uh, Rylai's would even be an argument that you can make to. Oof.
I think I like Zanya's. I like that suggestion. I was just like, what's the next Kale item? But you're like, what's a good Kale item in this particular situation? So I like that.
Yeah.
Baron has started up. RTM kind of just seats this because Smitty's on the wrong side of the map and so's Atlas. So they're going to spot it out. Gid might go for a hero steal, but I don't even think that you really need to do that at this point. And Fear even going to come out. That should be it. A little cage action. Feels like we haven't seen a whole lot happen in this game in the last couple of minutes, but the lead just keeps extending for TDS.
Yeah. You just saw Vigar
Ooh, Living
hit
Shadow
X.
used, now Vanguard's Edge. We're seeing abilities hit enemy champions. Bing Bong versus Fish Emulsion underneath the tower, but he's got the shield from... that pillar was almost a little troll catching Irelia, but she's got the dash back through. It's a solo kill for Fish Emulsion, and that might spell the end of ROTM here in game number 2. Gid is... He's got that little combo down. They do get the pick. It's a shutdown that goes on to Ashe, which doesn't suck. Gid heals back up. Smitty going into the backline, gets the double knockup. Atlas walking forward, but right into melee range of the Trundle, which a little bit controversial, didn't quite work out. And Aeropox has nothing left in the tank to try to deal with these last couple of members of TDS. He'll fall down, and TDS Knights are going to level up the series of 1.
Yeah, you knew it was trouble when you saw your Vagar hit Vex with a W at the Baron Pit whenever it was free with the cage, and it did about 10% of your health at
Oh,
27 minutes.
it might not end here. Bing Bong holding the line right now. And that's it. Okay. Yeah, held the line. Game isn't over. You're down 10,000 gold though, and there's 15 seconds to go on that mountain, right? The mountain soul even for TDS.
Which kind of almost completely negates the Vagar. Who stopped off for a stopwatch instead of more damage as well, so yeah, not a lot of damage items over on the side of ROTM, and it's just getting tougher and tougher. As you said, TDS just putting that slow stranglehold, slowly taking away. And
Yeah,
choking him
Ashwell
out.
gonna land on Uncle Crow. They're trying to pick a fight around this dragon. RTM trying to do anything they can, but Renata ult just lands on Smitty. He takes a huge chunk from Not So Dark on the Ezreal. Cage just going to bottle up Fish Emulsion for a second. The health bar is definitely favoring TDS right now, but can flip very quickly. Gid looking for an ult. Where's he going to pop it? Oh, it's the Irelia teleport into the base, so now you have to go if you're ROTM. They've got to find the fight to win the game right now. WG is going to fall. They're trying to kite back, but no one is going back to base to deal with the Irelia. They'll get more kills, but it doesn't matter because the Nexus is dead.
Oh, itemization is definitely something that probably needs to be discussed in between games. They ROTM did themselves a service by winning game 1, so even though they didn't have the performance to really seal it and take the series home, they do get a second chance at getting the victory. So uh, we'll see what they make as their adjustments in between games, but definitely can't have a repeat performance of game 2.
Yeah,
Again,
so
it was kind of just itemization choices that I feel like is what really put them in the hole. They got a little bit behind and they started reaching for items instead of playing it patiently and slowing it down and getting better items to put themselves in a better position to win. So
all right.
we will see how game 3 goes.
Yep, we're gonna jump very quickly into Banditos. Hopefully not ruin them right now.
I do have lanes, so I can jump into that one
Yeah.
with you. Atlas, I saw you commented on stream, so if you're listening, go ahead or turn Knuckles a friend request so I can spectate you guys again and not have to be delayed on stream.
Yeah, would appreciate that. This is IDE. They have 1. RotM has 0. Now we're good. There's a hook that lands. BKP is dead, which is unfortunate. Lane just trying to spin around with Cyclone. L-Rush looking for the re-engage on the Silas. NBK is on Shen. I guess they lane swapped?
It
And
does.
Lane's
I
playing
think
Wukong, farming Wukong support with Senna. Which is the Mad Lions special.
Lane, being a former top laner though, like probably more capable of pulling that off than your average support. So.
Oh no, we got rid of a fun name. There's
Oh yeah.
Eddie Boys in the top lane. What was the name of the?
What was the other? Because it was El Rouge versus.
He was Shen.
Right. That's all I remember was shit. You know what? I'm going to the op.gg since I'm not the one streaming to. Wait, I won't even be able to see it because it's. Wait, will I?
I don't know. Sometimes the VODs are there and sometimes they're not. Oh, this is CCS. I was just gonna look at their roster and see who was on it.
Well, op.gg wouldn't be like. It wouldn't show a custom game in the history on
No,
op.gg.
would not. Correct. Platinum Master Sheet. Group D. They are Iridescent Dawn. It was Blingo. Blingo DX.
Wait.
Eddie Boy is their normal top laner.
Ah, Blingo was the sub. Okay.
Blingo was the sub.
He performed admirably for a sub, didn't cost his team the game, which is all you can really ask for from a sub, is to just not lose it for you.
Yeah. And that's always rough coming into a team and potentially a communication system that you're not used to.
So BKP is on the victor this time, I guess, without looking at the op.gg, because I gave up as soon as I realized that it wouldn't have last game on it. I'm going to guess Cassiopeia might have been banned this game.
That seems like a fair assessment. Unfortunately for them, Victor plays kind of similarly to Cassiopeia in that you just sit back, farm, and scale, and then you're just very devastating.
Got some. Now, I will say this: Silas is a matchup that can punish the victor in lane. So, we see El Rouge having some kill participation. The KDA isn't exactly a ratio that you would want it to be, but he is 3 items in, so he's still a pain point for the rest of the team, even if his KDA isn't pretty.
Yeah. Objective bounties are falling off. We haven't really seen any extra gold go over to ROTM, but I guess that's a thing that's going to happen.
Aren't objective bounties, is it based on a percentage and not a flat amount? Like you're within 10% gold or 20% gold or whatever, is it percentage based or?
I don't know. It came up yesterday during the Plat stream at 2,000 gold and 3 dragons, which seemed just wild to me at like 15 minutes or 16 minutes.
Yeah, we had one of our game that was our second game that was more stumpy than the first. We had I remember thinking that we had a very early turret bounty against us, right? Ours had bounties that they were trying to collect, meaning, and so like I want to say it was something very similar where we were up double-digit kills, and but like it was only like 12 or 15 minutes into the game, and it was only like 2 dragons and maybe 2 towers, and they got turret bounties. Like I want to say it was like right after 14 minutes. I just remember it because I was 000 at the time, and I was like, wait, how do they have bounties when I'm 000? But
The life of the island.
right, I have made it my goal to like basically I don't even necessarily care about winning top lane for a surprise party. I've just made it a running meme with the tournament organizer over there, Metashift, that anyone that spent more than like 18 points on a top laner wasted points that they could have put into another position because top lane doesn't matter.
I always love. Well, there might actually be a fight happening. I always loved the meme about old Nunu top. It wasn't that Nunu top was a good top laner. The objective was to make the enemy top laner as useless as you were.
Right. And that's kind of like, in a sense, that's almost how I approach top lane this split. When you
This is a little risky. This is trading third dragon for an inhibitor in mid lane and a couple of extra towers on top of that. Well, now engage from lane, looking for anything that they can, but NBK and El Rush not finding a whole lot of damage. Lane is just going at it, but there's no real damage coming through. I don't know why they were picking that fight. Now gets the Shen ult on top. BKP pretty low, but they can't quite finish him off. Rejected a new flashes away. Hyping Hero able to beat him down. El Rush just dives in from the other side, and it's actually 2 kills in favor of ROTM. They're able to take down the Gwen as well. It's a double kill for Toyota, and Bandito somehow finds that fight. Lane stayed alive for so long in the backline.
Roosh getting out with the he used the entirety of his health bar that fight, is what we like to say when they walk away with bleeding health bars like that. Use maximum resources available. And then Lane did as well with his stopwatch, so very well playing on that knife's edge for them.
Oh, the double teleport from NBK and El Rush. They're looking for Bubster. They're looking for BKP. They'll get one of them locked up. They weren't quite able to finish off Bubster during that, but BKP will eventually fall. Toyota on a killing spree now on the Senna, and the Dragon should go the way of ROTM, but in comes Wardbox to make things a little interesting maybe on the Blitzcrank. Zipping on in. Blitzcrank? Nope, not quite there. The Dragon, or the Baron is finished off, and ROTM will secure that one and flip it back to just a 2,000 gold lead now for ID Eclipse.
You didn't hit the plus button when you joined, though, did you?
Nope. Here we go.
I figured I'd let all the action settle down before I reminded you of the plus button, because I was about a minute ahead of you.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, here we go. We're just zipping right along. Now we're live, and El Rush is getting ganked in mid lane. Rejected a new... Oh, that was the Silas Poppy. It's so hard to keep track sometimes of Silas. I saw somebody swinging a hammer, and then Poppy is the one that flew back, so... Good usage of the Silas ult by El Rush to be able to disengage that one, and it's already back up to steal somebody else's, which is just remarkable. Level 16 Silas really is sight to behold.
Right. I love it. You get to ult 2 times in one fight.
Rejected a new looking for Toyota. Does get the little knockup, but Hyping Hero has enough to disengage that fight, and they'll be able to keep topped off relatively by that Piercing Darkness.
Having double ocean. Having double Ocean Drake, even without the soul, just double Ocean Drake feels good now. It feels like the soul almost used to feel like, with just double.
Oh, Hyping Hero gets the pop back on the turret. Do they have the damage? They do to finish him off, and Hyping Hero takes down BKP. Now Eddie Boy and NBK renewing pleasantries in the bottom lane, but Eddie Boy should pretty significantly win that at this point, yeah. Just the snip is enough to deter the Shen. Good little dash back there by Lane, had the decoy available on command, and the turret's still going to fall here. We're channeling MF ults at each other in the mid lane, and there's a lot of things happening on the map right now, but ROTM looks like they're coming out relatively ahead. They're going to trade towers on the opposite side of the map. NBK walks right back into Eddie Boy, but he does not want this fight right now. That Gwen is very big. A lot of damage coming through onto Rejected and New, but it's just the double cannon minion plus the Senna able to chew through the tower. Looking onto the inhibitor now, and they haven't lost it on the other side of the map. Eddie Boy now hitting the ults, not quite able to find the needleworks through, but recalls hit, and ROTM going to head back to base after taking the inhib.
Good flash away to not get hit by every single cast of the needlework and allowing Gwen to chase you down when you're already at half health. Very necessary flash on the part of MBK. Because I think if you go down a Shin right there, you're at least giving up an inhib turret to Gwen and basically having all three of your inhibitors either down or exposed, and that makes your life tough when you're trying to fight to get back into this game playing from down.
Especially because Gwen could just repeat, and then it's an inhibitor, then it's a Nexus. Like, you're very exposed once that happens, but still staying alive. This is a potential Ocean Soul for return to the middle sticks if they're able to somehow secure this one. Last couple of fights have gone their way. Everybody positioning around it. Eddie Boy just clearing out the minion wave right now in mid lane, and ROTM has retreated back just a little bit. We've got a 3-man stack down on the bottom side. They have Shen ult available. They have Silas hanging around the outside now. Hook not quite gonna connect onto Toyota as he walks forward. They're just starting to tear through the dragon. Oh, it's a huge Poppy ult, but Lane is on the flank, gets knockups down. Can they get back into the pit? Oh, rushes in, but he can't quite secure the dragon. So, dragon secured by ID Eclipse, but what's going to happen to the fight? Lane looks for Ward Box, maybe as his first kill. Finishes one off, the other side of the fight not going as well. Eddie Boy tears through the Silas, but eventually falls down. 2 kills for return of the middle sticks, and the shutdown goes to Shen. Rejected New and BKP trying to get out, but can Lane and Hyping Hero find a little engage? Oh, he can't quite get through the thick part of the box. NBK's up in the top lane as he had teleported in to try to shove, but Bubster hits back to base and defends it successfully. I think that's enough recap. Go ahead.
So great Poppy ult to secure the dragon. Now IDE eventually loses the fight on the back end of it, but denying Stole with a almost completely on the back of that Poppy ult. Hyping Hero not able to get back in time in order to secure that dragon. Lane getting into the backline, being very disruptive, and then yeah, just really scattered fight. You saw Hyping Hero doing his best to try and get back over the wall, but well timed, and I don't know. Just not much more to say about that. We saw the top lane teleport to try and maybe make a cheeky play on the tower, but unfortunately Bubster able to sneak away and get his recall off and stop that push because MBK at half health when he did teleport up. So.
Oh, Elrush just finds a Blitzcrank waiting for him in the bush. Luckily doesn't get hooked in. Yeah, we're getting to the point where now one pick is probably going to decide the game. I haven't had objective timers up on the game, so I've been trolling, but Baron is up now. 3 minutes still to go on that Ocean Soul spawn, which for either side now, as we've had to Dragon 7 for a second consecutive game.
Yeah, both teams are really just playing late game. Well, I mean, on this one, they have a lot of late game scaling between a Senna and a Gwen. And so both teams, I mean, Victor on the other side too, both teams really happy to just take it to late game. And now we're seeing that. And as you said, death timers are long enough to where one mistake can cost you the game with open lanes in both sides of the map. So. Open meaning the inhib turret tower being gone and they have a path to march it down to the end of the game.
Well, RTM buzzing around, the pillar comes out. The MF not doing a whole lot of damage. They're trying to get Gwen down first. Toyota flashing away, but the Zanyas is there for Eddie Boy. They're really focused on that. El Rush now sets up with his own MF does a little bit of damage. Can they find the victor now is going to be the big question. The hook onto High Ping Hero is going to make that much harder. Where is the 5th member of ROTM in all of this? I lost track of somebody, but ROTM finds 2 kills. And now potentially the Baron as they've set up. El Rush has a long walk back, but he does have teleport available if needed. Rejected anew, finds lane waiting in the bush, so he's going to be more careful about how he approaches this lane. Can dash over the wall with his W, now he's out. The teleport in from El Rush on the backside, just trying to send Poppy back away with her own ult, but it was guarded against? I'm not really sure what happened there. Maybe he just missed. El Rush still, the taunt over the wall. The Baron burning down. There's no smite available, but it's finally secured by ROTM, and they'll be able to disengage.
Good job checking your boxes, making sure your Poppy doesn't have it away in, just being that annoying presence, but also not giving up kills while you're doing it, because that can sometimes happen. You're trying too hard to block the enemy jungler, you go too early and trade over a kill, but able to take the Baron, get it on all 5 members, and now you got Soul coming up soon, and it turned out to be a who catches who type of moment up there in that red side jungle, where Gwen thought she got Toyota, but Toyota's team all the way around her and able to buy time and space for Toyota to kite back to where they get the pick on Gwen, and once the Gwen goes down, that's kind of your major threat on your Senna, right? So Senna can move forward into that fight, and it is IDE on the back foot after Gwen goes down.
I don't know that NPK can really side lane even with the Baron buff right now. I think that might be a bridge too far. Hook gonna land onto El Rush, but he's got the dash back over. Gonna lose a little bit of health for it, but doesn't look like anything too terminal. And ROTM continues to try to march down mid. They have 1 minion left to try to take it up, and they'll be able to knock down this inhibitor. They can walk into that top lane inhibitor. Lane though looks for the engage, just trying to knock back in Bubster. Dawning Shadow comes on through. They'll get the shutdown onto the Silas. 2 people sent away. Lane trying to just kite back out. Eddie Boy on the teleport, looking for Toyota in the backline, starting to tear through, and there's now a defense left for Toyota. Eddie Boy into the Zanya's Hourglass. Hook Shen back away. They'll pin Lane into the wall. He's fresh off of a GA, now able to kite back away. BKP is still alive. Lane is dead to the minions? Or burn damage from Victor? I'm not really sure what, but it's 3v3 now on the map, and it's the 3 melee people for ROTM versus 2 melees and Victor.
Death's Dance is what got him, I believe.
That makes a little bit of sense as well. The hook lands onto El Rush. That's probably the person that he wanted out of that big group. BKP doing so much damage. El Rush looking for the kill, is able to finally finish that one off, but they trade 1 for 1. High Ping Hero now just chomping away, and they'll be able to kill everyone. Bubster is up in 5 seconds. They don't really have the minions available, and ROTM still has to evacuate the base.
They should, as a 2-man, be able to secure this dragon. Trundle does quite a bit of damage, and you got Toyota on the way to meet them there. So with Poppy just recently going down, they should be able to secure Soul for themselves, which will be big in these long, extended team fights to be able to heal off your own damage too, and not just passively heal. So this is big. They weren't able to win the game off of it, but that small difference in team fight outcome where your big boys live made the difference in that neutral objective. So ROTM kind of has control of the game right now. The big thing is how much damage can Eddie Boy do before he gets peeled? Because if he's able to get to Senna like that again for free, all of a sudden the team fight becomes chaotic and less predictable for ROTM.
Yeah, and it's hard because Toyota's full build now. There's no room really for a Zanya's Hourglass in his build. I mean, maybe there is, because you've got an Infinity Edge and you've only got... I guess you're getting crit from your souls. Never mind. No notes.
I think maybe you could sell your Umbral Glaive for Zanya's at this point.
That's a lot of your damage control. The 1v1 here not going super well for Shen, but Eddie Boy still... Oh, El Rush just able to get the trade kill thanks to the rest of the squad showing up. But 1 for 1, now NBK on the top side. called out wrong. It was El Rush that was down there in the 1v1. He thought he could take it against the Gwen, and he was almost right. Like, that's remarkable. A lot of people getting the 6 items now. This is very late game territory.
What do you? I guess I don't understand, and I'm willing to admit my lack of understanding here on stream. What do you mean the Umbral Glaive is your damage control? Oh, I guess.
Your vision control. Sorry.
Right. Yeah.
Um, I don't know that that's valuable enough, but you're already running an AD as a support, basically, so who knows? I could definitely see selling it and buying a Guardian Angel. I could also see keeping it just to kill wards.
Right, and that's kind of where I was at with it. Is like, uh, you're. I guess that does give you a small advantage in the sense that you have an item that's gonna sweep and deny vision when pink wards are gonna be less and less of a thing, and so. But you're also seeing that if you look across the scoreboard on the other side of the map, you're also not going to be seeing a lot of wards in general. A lot of them have swapped over to blue trinkets, and so it kind of actually makes sense to dump the Umbral Glaive for a defensive item if Gwyn is that much of a problem.
Yeah, I can see that one. How much gold is he sitting on? Not quite enough to make the swap, so we'll have to see what he's looking for here. Really impressive 425 farm, by the way, for Bubster. Like, getting close to 10 CS a minute the longer this game goes on. Only 3, 2, and 1 on the MF, but that's a lot of farm. Always impressive.
Yeah, let's see. I'm trying to look at Lane's got to finish what I would assume to be
Ooh,
the
NBK gonna
Caulfields.
get caught just a little bit here. Eddie Boy gets the inside track, which might be enough for him to get a lot of damage down onto this tower. RTM going to go ahead and start up Baron, but they have Silas on the bottom side of the rift right now. This is a 2v1. They're trying to finish off Eddie Boy quickly. He's stuck underneath tower. It's not going to be that quick. Dawning Shadow comes through. El Rush picks up that kill. Lane, that's just the clone that's being torn through by the Bubster ultimate. And the Poppy ult, it's only going on the reduced cooldown, so like 10 to 15 seconds before that's back up. And now ROTM walking in. They need their Silas back. He does have teleport available if needed. Hyping Hero just walking in, looking for Rejected Anew. Aggressive teleport coming in. It's a double teleport. NBK and El Rush both here. They get the roots. They get the knockups. The Wombo combo comes on through for the Banditos, and it's a double kill for this Shen. Lane dashes forward and finds another one. There's no need to finish off Rejected Anew. They've got what they needed, and they'll tie the series at 1.
All right.
Well, maybe. The Poppy might have something to say about it. The towers are relatively tanky. Minion Wave is being escorted in by El Rush. I don't think he can say anything about this. Yeah, he'll eventually die. Boy, what a wombo there at the end. We saw what this team fight really wanted to do for ROTM there in the last waning seconds of the game.
Yeah, and really good surviving the Gwen. The difficulty that is a Gwen that can get and disrupt the way that get to the back line and disrupt the way that champion can. They played around it really well. Looked for picks onto the Gwen to just ensure that she wouldn't be checking their back line, and able to come back and get a late game victory, which always feels good when you get to that pins and needles stage of the game where the next person to die could influence the rest of the game. It's a really knife's edge type of feeling, and they navigated it really well and able to get themselves tied up in the series and going to a game 3 in a series that isn't must win but is important for them at this point in the season.
Yep. I'm gonna take just a quick break in between these next couple of games, grab a pee and a water, and I'll be right back. I know we're already into the next one because Dread's in, but we'll take just a little bit of an extended breather for a second.
Okay, very well. I also would appreciate that. So.
Alright, sorry about that, gamers. We ready?
I assume we went back to Dread. I looked up Arrow on op.gg and I'm viewing through that client. So I am already in game if that's where we're going.
Yep, that's where I'm headed. And then we'll finish up with Banditos and we'll be done. I'm loading in, sorry. I can hear
Oh.
stuff happening in the background.
Yeah, I was just not gonna spoil the awesome mid lane matchup that we had in this game.
There we go. It's Zyra versus Brand.
Right, so we're actually just moving supports to mid lane now.
Yeah, fair enough. And Uncle Crow took Taric away from Scrams. Oh, they're running Taric Seraphine? Oh my god. That's a lot of bullshit in one lane.
And Taric Sona used to be one of the most dominant lanes in League of Legends.
Knock up from Gid. Shutdown goes to Arrow. We're watching at 2x speed, so this is really hard to commentate. WG just looking for it. Ram hit. Orenhorn comes through, but it's a double kill for the Trundle. Bing Bong now getting into the mix with the Trundle. A flash forward triple kill for... It's a quadra kill for Bing Bong on Ornn? That was very important to speed through at two times speed, but it's a quadra kill for Bing Bong on the Ornn.
We get Forgefire Crest now out of that.
Yeah.
Gets his level up,
Ooh.
so...
Oh, not quite the range from Not So Dark onto Atlas. I don't know that he could kill him anyway, but maybe he can. He's got Rylai's plus Leandri's, so...
Yeah, I don't know. With the Ornn being right there to threaten too, I don't know if you really do kill the Twitch there.
I mean, I think ult plus the double Q actually just kills him. But maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I've been hurt too many times by Seraphine.
Yeah, the thing I was kind of like, we mentioned in the Banditos game that it was a long one, but I guess I didn't realize like just how long it was until I tuned into this game, and we were already 20 minutes into it by the time we jumped in. So.
Another fight breaking out. WG getting knocked up. Can they actually finish off the Trundle? He's getting a lot of healing, but Gid eventually finishes him off. Now Bing Bong just breathing fire onto Uncle Crow and Swedish Pancakes. Big E from Swedish Pancakes, but it just doesn't really matter. Bing Bong is so tanky. Atlas now collapsing in. It's another double kill for Bing Bong. Fish Emulsion and Not So Dark now looking for it. Bing Bong into the backline. They lose Aeropox. Atlas trying to find a good angle to rejoin, but Bing Bong gets collected by Fish Emulsion. It's a 2v2, but Fish Emulsion just needs one auto onto either of them. There's the triple kill for the Gangplank. He's got the healing, but can't find the range for the Twitch, and Atlas is the sole survivor of that fight.
A deceptively difficult thing to do is try and navigate a chaotic fight as Gangplank. When it's all set up and like they're just coming into you, that part's relatively straightforward. But when it breaks down like that, and it's just you and an AD carry left. Really easy to panic.
This is a little scary now. WG, yeah. All right. That's the dream for the jungler. He got the steal. Now they can maybe look at Baron, because Atlas has to go back and spend his gold. But they don't do Baron very fast. Like, you have percent health damage on Not So Dark and Swedish Pancakes, but I don't know that this is quick and or speedy. They're getting through it fast enough. Bing Bong over the wall, gets the ward down. He's got ult available if they want to make a thing of it, but he doesn't have anyone else. It's just him and Smitty. In comes the Ornhorn, not going to get the steal, and they lose Baron. They're still going to fight over this. Bing Bong is in a lot of trouble. In comes the Cosmic Radiance as well, just to buy a little bit of time. Smitty trying to get out, but just going to try to escort Aeropox out to safety.
That hurts because you won the team fight, greeted for the dragon, and because of the timing of respawn timers, end up losing both the dragon and the baron off of it. So, yeah, you're trying to capitalize off your team fight win, but
Oh
it
no, Arrow.
backfires and it hurts.
I think he's fine. He's just burning a lot, as one does against the character that is known for the burning. Gid looking for the assassination on Uncle Crow. Not really going to find a whole lot. Now dashes back in with the Blade's Reach. In comes the Cannon Barrage just to really spot out Twitch and make sure that he can't enter the fight from that angle. They're holding him here. They really need a re-engage, and Bing Bong might have just the sauce for him from the side. The dash in, it's a flash away immediately from everyone from TDS, and now no gap closers really available for ROTM. They've lost that top lane turret to the gangplank. Gid's still looking for it, but he doesn't have ult available, so that's not going to be a good look for him. And now maybe the re-engage from TDS. Bing Bong drops the Ornhorn down, needs to get the big knock up, and it is still 2 more deaths. This has been messy, very messy.
Right. You haven't had a chance to breathe in like 2 minutes, so but yeah, this is one of those things where it's like just chain decisions, trying to make something happen for your own side, and it's just not quite ever in reach for your team, and then it just starts slowly cascading against you. And so we see that happen with starts with a really good team fight. They come out on top. They get the last kill. The 5 for 4. Your Twitch is alive. Your Braum respawns. Not able to burn it down though before Trundle just kind of uses Cloud Drake to walk up and take it. And then they take Baron. And then trying to get something back on the back of Baron, looking for picks and kind of overextend. And then we see Gid trying to make a play when he doesn't have ult available. I didn't have a problem with like where Bing Bong comes in from the side, looks on a flank, and then you don't land anything and you just handshake the, all right, we'll reset and we'll see you at the next one. But kind of just overextend, and when you do, then give up your ground and your territory, and they get to push back because you're down a person now. So it's just slight.
Yeah, it swung from a 2,000 gold lead out to 7,000 just because of the decisions that were made in that situation. I think the weirdest one to me, I understand greeting for the dragon. Like, that's a rough one. You chalk that one up to, oh, the dragons are more tanky and we didn't expect that. Like, that's a rough one. Why didn't you expect TDS to immediately go to Baron? Like, no one was on that half of the map to try to contest. You had everyone up, but no one walked to that side. It was just Bing Bong and Smitty that walked in. Anyway, we're looking for Fish Emulsion in the top lane. There's no real threat against this, so it should be a free kill as long as Aeropox doesn't die tragically. But Atlas will pick that one up. Did have to burn his ult in the process, and now 45 seconds roughly to go on a potential soul now for TDS. It's Air Soul, like not the big prize at the end of this one, but you do have a couple of very threatening characters with that. Why can I only think of Air Soul? What is it actually called? Cloud Soul.
Cloud Soul.
Gid is gonna die inside Swedish Pancakes? No, he gets enough healing back. He's got that turnaround. It's a shutdown that goes to him. Now he's got to escape WG though. Not So Dark and Uncle Crow collapsing from the side. They're the only 3 people left alive. Gangplank can teleport in here in 2 seconds, which is something that they have to be a little bit careful of. Seraphine ult just trying to collect everything back across. They have enough damage to eventually chunk through the Trundle, but they'll lose Smitty, which happens. He's Braum. Bing Bong looking for the re-engage now. Atlas on the side, layering in some autos as Twitch. He doesn't have the extended range from his ult, but they'll finish off the Taric in the process. It's just Fish Emulsion and Not So Dark left alive. Atlas hanging around. Watch the Twitch. So Kane on the side. Gid can do some cheeky things over the wall here if he gets the opportunity to. But it doesn't look like he's going to be able to find that angle. And they're also not starting up this dragon, which I think might be a mistake here. Root over the wall, exchange between Not So Dark and Aeropox. Now the dragon finally started up by Atlas. Gid is onto it, but in comes Swedish Pancakes, who's back from the dead. WG has just respawned. Uncle Crow about to respawn. I don't think they'll be able to get here, but now the objective bounty finally gets claimed, and everything's starting to flip a little bit back in favor of ROTM. Bing Bong needs his ult just doesn't have it up just yet. Atlas waits out the barrel, fish emulsion, in a little bit of trouble. In comes the ult over the side from Atlas. He picks off the Seraphine. They'll get 2, but they'll eventually finish off the Twitch, and now WG will just rampaging on through. This is going to be a lot of healing for Gid. He's actually back to half health. They'll get the knockup from Aeropox. They'll get the knockup from Bing Bong, but do they have the damage to actually finish off any of these kills now? Gid can't quite find it. Neither can Bing Bong. Aeropox, what does he have on the Zyra? Bing Bong is just scrapping on out, and this is kind of the drawback of the Zyra. It's hard to confirm kills when people are just walking away from you. And yeah, now I rest. Now I sleep.
Both teams, I'll say this, both teams are at least throwing punches to try and win this game. This isn't one of those ones that you see sometimes in the gold cap games where one team jumps out to a lead and you just slowly bleed out until you lose. They're at least throwing punches both sides, and both sides are feeling like they got a hot shot to win. The gold lead currently in favor of our opposition. I say our, meaning the ROTM organization, since we are an ROTM cast.
Yeah.
And also because I don't quite recall who they're playing besides the names. I don't.
It's
The
TDS
nameplate?
Knights. Yeah.
TDS. All right. So all those games you jump in and out of, you lose track of
Yeah.
the other team's 3 initials, and yeah. But yeah. So
I think it's less of a like scrappy boxing match, unless you're talking them throwing haymakers. Have you seen slap fights though? It's more like that. They're just taking turns slapping each other full power, and the other side's just getting up off the mat, coming back and throwing a slap back the other way. I think that's what we're engaged in. There's no we're not feeling each other out. We're throwing haymakers. We're throwing everything back and forth.
It's a heavyweight fight, not a flyweight one.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's really important. We talked about the Cloud Soul, and I don't necessarily think that Dread wants the Cloud Soul because it's so great on them, but I think they want it to deny it from champions like Trundle, like Gangplank, and like Tarek, who really have just fire it off type of ults, and then they get the move speed to kind of reposition and navigate whenever. Now, because your Ornn isn't going to make the best use out of a Cloud Soul, right? Not in comparison to other champions. Your Zyra isn't really going to make the best use of a Cloud Soul because she's locked in animation. Your Kayn isn't. Well, I mean, I guess coming out of the...
No, Kayn is probably your best user of it. Twitch is sneaky bad because you really just want to stand in one spot and layer in with your ult. But if you gotta move, I guess you can zip around. So, who knows? That's just kind of exists, I guess.
But yeah, denying it from TDS is pretty important because of the way that 3 of their champions interact with set it and forget it ults. Well, I mean, Tarek, you don't really forget it, but it even helps you speed it up and find the best spot to place your ult, your individual portion of the ult on maximum value, right? So denying that Cloud Soul is kind of more important than it would be in most games. So.
Oh, this is really risky positioning there from ROTM as they're walking on through the jungle. Terracolt going to come down. It's only going to hit 2. Gid just trying to do what he can. Atlas flashes over the wall. He's doing a lot of damage over the wall, but gets found eventually by the Gangplank. Fish Emulsion now with a double kill. Everything just so fast around this little air pocket thing that exists on the Rift. Aeropox gets just stunned up by the Dazzle? It used to just be called Dazzle. I don't know what it's called now. Trundle and Seraphine are just ending the game, while Bing Bong is here trying to deal with Uncle Crow and Swedish Pancakes. I think eventually Bing Bong wins this, but it doesn't matter if he can't get back to base and stall everything out. He's just stuck here in hell, trying to fight Brand and Tarek until his Nexus explodes. Smitty is respawned, but he's not going to be able to do anything. Yeah, there's the Nexus going down, and it's a 2-1 win for TDS.
I know it's unfortunate to take an L, but I got a lot of joy out of that last team fight. I had to actually double check and make sure my client wasn't somehow in 2x speed
Yeah.
because of how they were zipping around that Cloud Soul section of the map. So that part was at least brought me joy. Unfortunately, our boys in ROTM dropped their series, and it's I guess the bright side of that is it's only for seeding. It's not as important as say Harvest, who's literally their life is on the line the next time that they lace up their boots to go out on the rift. So taking an L never fun, but in context, it's at least not as detrimental as it could be, and it's gonna be something they can look back on because it was a really close series overall, which I find are the close losses are the ones that I tend to, as an individual, learn the most from. And so hopefully it'll be a learning opportunity as they prepare to make a deep playoff run going forward.
Yeah. What I think. So it's two straight losses for Dread, but what I hope that they take away from this is they've been very close in all of those games, right? Even their 0-2 last week to Team Bye Week, they were competitive in. They were very competitive in this series against TDS Knights. All three games could have gone either way. Um, so what they need to take from it is that they can stand toe to toe against these teams, and you know they just got to have their best punch available when that playoff bracket comes forward. The unfortunate thing is now they're going to be the lowest seed in the 2 seed pool, so they'll get to choose their matchup, or they don't get to choose their matchup anymore. They just get the last team left available to them. If you finish higher up, you get to choose your matchups, which is kind of neat, I guess. But yeah, also wanted to give a commiseration shout out to Team Ambition Whooper. B Potts and his squad were eliminated tonight. So they lost to Harvest, and then they lost their next game as well. So a little unfortunate for them.
Pour one out for the homies.
Pour one out for the homies. Let's see how Game 3's going for Banditos and finish this one up.
Hopefully, less than 40 minutes for this third round.
I mean, at this point, I know it's the last one, right? We can cruise on in. What I want to see is a RotM win at the end of that one, because we have watched L after L tonight. This is not shaping up particularly well as we load in. Lane is dead to Bubster. It's a cash out for the Draven. It's a double kill for the Draven. Oh boy.
No, we saw Crowstorm take a W in the one before the last, so we have seen many L's, but not L after L.
We didn't get to watch Crowstorm win a game. They got the forfeit win. But yeah, we got
Oh,
Banditos.
I'm sorry, Banditos.
Yeah, we got the Banditos win, but we are kind of like 1-5 on the stream right now.
Oh, yeah.
I
will say...
they got the play? Okay, they killed that BKP on Cassiopeia, which is apparently very difficult to do. Hyping Hero isn't fine, neither is El Rush. Oh, the max range hook from Wardbox. Okay. That'll do. NBK now in the top lane, scrapping it up with Eddie Boy. I think we'll need to flip Azir and Gnar, if I had to guess. I don't know about Azir into Cassiopeia. That seems like a good Cassiopeia matchup to me.
I think once you break laning phase and you can kind of get a couple items, it flips to Cassiopeia favor, because like the DPS, but I think the long range safety of Azir makes laning phase difficult for Cassiopeia.
I just feel like you put him on grounding and then he doesn't get to do the Azir things, so...
I think outside of it being ganked by a jungler, he doesn't care about being grounded, because like his soldiers aren't grounded and he's just gonna Q poke you.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I don't know, the bigger issue that's brewing is there's a 3-0 Draven in the video game, and you can see that he's got a Serrated Dirk and a Sheen up on Toyota.
Yeah, that's an item defeat right there.
It's a little bit of a canyon.
Especially to a champion that already kind of beats you early. To have items because you got beat early just compounds that. So, I'm actually kind of surprised to see BKP on the Cassiopeia again. I don't know if, again, we don't never got confirmation if it was banned or not last game, but as well as he performed on it in game 1, I would not let him have that champion again for the rest of the series.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. So Banditos are opting to flex NBK and L Rush, which is allowed within CCS rules. You can flex your mid and your top and your AD and support. That's it. I don't know why it specifies that you can do those only, but yeah. So
Gotcha.
NBK or L Rush played game 1 in top lane and then has played game 2 and 3 in mid. If I'm correct on my champions, at least.
Yeah,
This is a little funny. But yeah, I don't know. If you're Toyota, your Jinx of the hit show Arcane, so you can scale into the game. It's just going to be a bit. This matchup isn't particularly fun as Gnar.
It's not particularly fun as Malphite either. I don't think
Yeah.
either player enjoys this matchup.
It's just mutual hell. But realistically, once you get Ninja Tabby plus an armor component of some sort, you don't really die as Malphite. And he did the correct thing where you go Arcane Comet. Hyping Hero looking for a gank in mid, rejected a new, has will dash away the Suck My Dick Rocket. Not quite enough damage to finish any of them off, and the Cyclone will be enough to get rejected a new out.
Oof.
Oof.
Bubster just kind of styling on Draven on that one, flexing his gold lead and champion advantage in that situation.
I don't think this actually works out at all. Yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy. That kill at least didn't go to Draven. Positive.
True. Silver lining.
Why is Hyping Hero still? You can't be here, buddy. I guess they just can't kill the tower yet because it's got a lot of extra plating. Well, we got one ROTM on stream. It's been a little rough week for the ROTM boys, but we have some silver linings. So we got Crowstorm going to playoffs. We got Masters team survived in advance this week. El Rush doesn't have ult. He still has his dash if he can ever get a soldier back up, so he's going to be able to walk it out. NBK gonna Gnar show Eddie Boy into the wall, and my stream is frozen. And now we're back. That was weird. Unstoppable Force used by Eddie Boy just for a little bit of distance. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, this is a 2v3, but there's 4 people because there's a Wukong clone, and it's a double kill for BKP. I couldn't think of initials or the champion for a second there.
No, it's okay. We're on game 7, and there hasn't been a lot to be excited about for the hometown crowd. So I feel like it's permissible to have brain farts at this point. Now, I guess one thing we can talk about is top lane matchup. We were talking about this is a matchup Gnar hates, and I was like, well, this is a matchup Malphite hates too. So like, I guess the dynamic for the non-top laners is when Malphite has ult, Gnar hates it because he can be all in, but Malphite hates it because he can't just walk up to the wave and farm CS because he is under duress of being hyperproc to death or chipped away at with hyperprocs, and so you have to maintain good spacing and pick and choose when you go up to farm the wave. So it's kind of a non-standard playstyle, and I think legitimately both sides hate that matchup because of the way it's played out.
Yeah, not a free pass for either of them, to be fair. Which means that it theoretically is more like just a skill matchup, but I think it's one where both sides are frustrated by it rather than being like, yeah, let me opt into a skill matchup here.
Right.
Eddie Boy has his ult back up again? That's a short cooldown, and he's away with the cheese wheel, and he's got the camp emote that he could be. Oh, never mind. This is CCS, so I think you can emote in CCS. It's Aegis that you can't emote in.
Maris, the keeper of all the rulebooks.
Oh God, I have read too many rulebooks in my time. Toyota, this is probably illegal. That's just a law book. That one's not a rule book thing. Um,
He's looking very much like DSM's AD carry when they played Liquid last, and then Blippo was 0-4 and Lost was 0-4, or I think it was Lost. Is there? Yeah, just hating life.
Elrush trying to separate ward box. He's gonna get the kill on Nautilus. Yeah, and he burned both summoners on Bubster. That's, you're doing it. NBK gets a top lane tower. There's semi-positive things happening for ROTM.
They the current run is that IDE is currently getting about 500 gold and plus 500 gold per minute on ROTM. I don't think that's a pace that you want to keep as ROTM. So have to at least slow down the speed of the gold gap, right? To give yourself a chance.
Yep, and unfortunately, the acceleration champion is accelerated. My God, he's got almost 3 completed items, and poor Toyota does not have one. I'm going to hit X, and I'm going to close my eyes, but I'm going to show that gold gap to the stream. I pretend I do not see it. That's a
Okay,
little,
I saw it.
It's a little chunky there, as it turns out. Oh no, they can't find Rejected Anew. They have the exhaust down on him, but I mean, how many auto attacks from no mythic, no item Jinx is it going to take? Hyping Hero trying to pull Bubster back in. They can get the shutdown. That's pretty big. Give it to Azir. Oh no, NBK is going to take it on the backside. It's not the worst, but they do get the shutdown. Cosmic Radiance now. Big shuffle in from El Rush. Bubster dived in and then back out, or excuse me, Rejected Anew did. And they'll find NBK on the backside. BKP on the killing spree. Toyota and Lane left back alive underneath the tower. You got to shut down. It's 2 for 3. That's not the worst thing in the world for Banditos at this point. But this might be. Okay, they only lost Lane. Toyota's still alive. That's what matters, right? You saved the ADC.
I don't know. Tarek might be more important to your team than the ADC at this point. Just calling it like it is.
He's got Kraken Slayer. He's got 2 more daggers. Look at him go.
Oh, all right. No, like you were saying, I don't know if MBK is the person you want to clean up the Draven bounty. I think as IDE, you're perfectly happy if that's who it goes to. But you'd also rather it go to Gnar than nobody, so.
Yeah. Elrush even stole that blue buff back away from BKP. Little victories. Plus, yeah, so look at the inventory for Toyota, right? He's got 5 items, and Draven's got 6. You're within an item now.
Oh, okay. Maris with the positive outtakes, whereas I'm one of those people that likes to put things into perspective, and very interesting that Draven had a bigger gold lead than Jinx had total gold, so.
Xanazurge is this playoff qualifiers. This particular game isn't. We've been doing playoff qualifiers all night, but both of our gold teams are now done for the evening, so this is our Platinum CCS team. And that's a nice shutdown, a little solo bolo for El Rush. Unfortunately, on the top side, well, they sent Wukong away. Maybe this is doable. I don't know that you win this 2v2, but at least it's not a immediate L. This one is, though. Bubster is 3 levels ahead of Toyota right now.
Yeah, so when we tuned into the game, I had made comment that I don't know about the Cassiopeia after game 1, but then Bubster was like, hang on, hold my beer, let me see this Draven. So
No more Heimerdoodles until Thursday, unfortunately.
yeah.
Congrats on the qualification, by the way, Xana's Urge. It was a fun series yesterday. Um,
Who did Doodles bust out yesterday? I missed the games yesterday.
Doodles was Lilia, if I'm
Hmm.
not mistaken.
Did they triple ban him again?
No, it was just one ban. It was just Kindred.
Hmm.
They also lost, so
Hopefully, I want to see the Doodles in Italy again.
yeah. I'm not sure why they didn't go for the Nidalee, but they wanted the Lilia. Yeah, it was the
Fair.
Lilia. Trying to remember yesterday, 7 games ago. um, this game isn't going very well, so yeah, we can live in yesterday for a little bit. Ban out the most cancer champ, aka Kindred. All right, I,
I at
I
least respect
of
that. Yeah.
yeah, I can respect that. I don't know that of Kindred, Graves, Lilia, Nidalee, is Kindred the most cancer champ of the 4?
Uh,
I think it's Graves personally, but I can see an argument for Kindred.
the thing about Kindred is she changes the way that your jungler, in a sense, in our argument and theory, she changes the way your jungler paths and has to play the game. So, if you're really trying to hard to deny marks, so I could see the argument for Kindred being the most cancer, plus the ultimate denying a pick or a potential important kill. So, I can see the argument for Kindred being the most cancer out of the 4.
Yeah, I was seeing in their Discord. I don't want to spoil too much. They were a little upset at themselves for forgetting that Trundle existed, because they were talking about flipping Lilia to top lane and just playing Trundle into Volibear. Um, I thought that was an interesting take. Lane is dead. BKP finds another kill. They're 18th of the game, as it turns out. Elrush wins this. I don't think he can keep up without an extra dash. I don't really... I've kind of lost track of what's really happening in this game. We're 23 minutes in. It's not going very well for ROTM. And Baron is just started up by 3 people on IDE.
I will say the one thing I've enjoyed about this series in particular, and again, it's hard to comment on this series versus other series when the rules are different, but the emote game is strong in this series. So we getting some tints, getting some krebs, getting some thumbs ups. So
I feel like Eddie Boy has to have that. What's the perfect enemy tilting emote combo for a top laner to have? He's hitting like all 3 of those immediately.
yeah, mental is a big part of warfare in top lane. So Eddie going next level with his strategies.
Yeah, Rejected Anu gonna find the Cyclone. Elrush and Toyota just trying to do any damage that they can. They have Hyping Hero to maybe swing in and make something happen, but at this point it's kind of how much can you give up without completely losing your base and trying to scale.
So given that I have just recently started casting with you, Marison, it's mostly been the gold games. I'm not... Of course, I know Lane being a longtime ROTM member, but some of these other gentlemen I haven't seen around as much. Like, is MBK typically the top laner and Roosh the mid laner? I know they've flexed this series, but if you were to say this is the default roster, is Roosh the mid laner or is it MBK or like, you know what I mean? Do you get what I'm asking?
The de facto has been the flip of this. So Elrush is top lane and NBK is mid. This is something they've tried out this week, as far as I know. They also had a 3-game week this week because of rescheduling, and their first game was very tragic, and their last 2 they've just lost. So their first game, Hyping Hero had his computer crash like 3 minutes into game number 1. So they had they had to fight a 4v5, and then had to have Cardinals sub in, who's another top laner. So they had two top laners and a mid laner to try to cover jungle. Um, it was just an unfortunate circumstance. That's a big cyclone. Oh, yeah. Teleport in from NBK. He's almost got Mega up. I don't know that that really matters, but theoretically, it doesn't. Yeah.
No.
What happened there with the... That was a weird poppy ult. It looked like it hit, but it didn't, and then it hit again, and then it didn't, and at the end of the day, it's a double kill for IDE. They're going to walk it down mid and end the game. You got your wish. It was a short game for game 3. Yeah. It's a little unlucky. Oh my god, that was 3 autos. That's 2 autos. Bubster. Chill, bro. I'm going to hit X before it ends. Oh my god.
So that was just a Draven game where the Draven did what he was supposed to, snowballed the game, and IDE just played through that and really just hit the gas pedal as soon as they got their Draven a lead. I wasn't hoping for a short game in that sense, but I again, I don't, without knowing, having the standing straight in front of me. You said that that was important, but not must win.
I
I
don't
think
think
is what
it's...
we landed on.
Yeah, I don't think it's completely backbreaking, but now you gotta win your next couple of games or else you're eliminated. If I look at the standings... Oh god. Okay, so top 5 in your group advance to playoffs. You're gonna drop to 1 and 4, which means that you've got 2 games left. In
So-
this week, you just lost to the 2 teams around you. So you gotta beat... They have Dog New and Titan Gaming Hyperion left on their schedule, as far as I know. They've got to win both of those, and maybe they'll need help as well if the schedule works out really weird.
So now they're because they couldn't get the series win tonight. They're basically in a must win for the rest of the season, and they're having to punch up in the rest of their games standing wise. So they've really backed themselves into a corner with the result. Now the silver linings. We like silver linings around here. Hyping up our own team, our own boys, our own gents. Silver lining is mentally and prep wise, this was gonna be their hardest week, and it's over. So they get a chance to focus on one at a time in theory, and hopefully that will make the difference as they go forward into the last couple weeks to make a push to sneak into playoffs. So
Yeah. Well, we'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching. If you don't follow the stream, please hit the follow button, as we'd love to see you back here again. Our next broadcast is going to be Monday night as the Masters team returns to the Rift. They've got... I had it on the tip of my tongue, and then I don't. They've got Zenigma Solar, who is the #1 seed from the Noxus division, in a lower bracket showdown. They're in the round of 6 now in the lower bracket, so win, they're into the lower semis, and then in the lower finals. It's been a tough slog, but they've shown that they can beat anybody and lose to anybody. So who knows how that's gonna go. Um, so yeah, that'll do it for us. Your team returns to the Rift on Tuesday night, so we'll maybe have that game. I'll have to see how the timing's gonna work out. But go watch CCS now. It looks like We Love Solbert taking on Iconic something. I don't remember. Iconic Ascension, maybe. That sounds right. Go watch CCS. Bye.
later.